Chapter 602. I promised to spend the weekend with you at South Hill Manor. You've been tired lately, and I want to spend a relaxing weekend with you. But now... Chin-Chu paused. Huamin let out a sigh of relief when he heard the reason. Don't be silly. The company is more important. Something this big happened, so of course you have to take care of it. You have a lot of opportunities to spend time with me, so it won't be too late for you to take care of everything. Huamin comforted him. After this, we'll go overseas. I haven't taken you on a real honeymoon yet. Chin-Chu said guiltily. Says who? Didn't you take me to Yunning Mountain last time? Huamin chuckled. Yunning Mountain doesn't count. After I'm done, we'll go to the Maldives. Okay, I'll wait for you. After hanging up, Huamin felt a lot better. Chin-Chu would never bring negative emotions to anyone around him, especially not to Huamin, who he loved the most. Huamin hung up the phone and obediently went downstairs to eat. The specially hired chef seemed to know Chin-Chu's appetite and made several seafood dishes. There were Boston lobsters, steamed crabs, steamed scallops with garlic and vermicelli, and salted prawns. Even though Huamin didn't have much of an appetite, he still ate a little since he promised Mr. Chin. On the other hand, Chin-Chu was as busy as crazy as a bee. As soon as he got off the plane, he called Huamin while listening to Assistant Yang report on the latest news from the accident. After hanging up with Huamin, he walked out of the airport and was immediately swarmed by reporters from all directions. Mr. Chin, how do you plan to deal with the aftermath this time? Mr. Chin, how did your company compensate for the deaths? Mr. Chin, as GK's new president, how do you feel about something like this? Mr. Chin, I heard that the death toll has increased from 3 to 4, and the government is investigating whether GK is a shoddy construction company. What do you think about this? Mr. Chin, after this incident was exposed this afternoon, GK's stock price dropped by 5%. Will it continue to drop tomorrow? Please give us a forecast. Mr. Chin, I heard that GK's film and television company's grand opening is the day after tomorrow. Due to this sudden incident, will you postpone it? Xiaoyang had never seen so many reporters before. Oh my God, it was a sea of people. Not only were their questions sharp, but they were also extremely difficult ones. Not only his boss, his assistant Yang felt like his head was going to explode. Yang, he thought his boss' arrogance to Hua's to be ignored. Unexpectedly, the boss actually stopped in its tracks, which was a rare occurrence. Then, he calmly said, "Thank you for your attention, friends from the media. Because time is limited and there are too many questions, I will only answer 3 points. First, my company and I feel very sorry for the casualties of the accident. We will definitely compensate the victims, and the amount will be satisfactory. Second, the cause of this accident is still unknown, so I can't announce it to the public. I can only say that if it is GK's responsibility, we will not avoid it. If it is our partner's fault, we will not tolerate it and will pursue it to the end. Third, regarding the grand opening of the film and television company the day after tomorrow, the date will not be changed. Thank you, everyone." Faced with Chin-Chu's answers, some of the reporters took photos like crazy, while others took notes, recorded, and videotaped. After Chin-Chu got in his car, some people continued to clap. They had been in the media for many years, but they had never seen such a young CEO, especially for a company as powerful as GK. At first, everyone thought that since GK was a family business, it was normal for a son to inherit it. However, after seeing Chin-Chu's reaction to the scene and his words, they were certain that he was not a simple person. Inside a private club, a few men who were drinking red wine in the private room smiled as they watched the live broadcast. Chin-Chu may be young, but he managed to hold his ground. "He's quite impressive," Tang Chuan exclaimed. "After such a big incident, you still want to open the grand opening the day after tomorrow. You're clearly provoking our Lord Su. Lord Su, what do you think about this?" Wei Liao looked at Su Yu and smiled proudly. Chapter 603. Su Yu leaned against the sofa lazily. He was wearing a white short-sleeved t-shirt with a Versace logo on it. He held a glass of red wine in his right hand and gently swirled it. Then he smiled. "He's confident because he thinks he succeeded in poaching my woman. What about the truth?" Wei Liao asked with a smile. "Don't worry, you'll find out the day after tomorrow." Damn, you won't even tell us. We won't betray you, Tang Chuan cursed. Su Yu's plan had never been made public, so Wei Liao and Tang Chuan didn't know about it. It's not fun to tell you now. Just wait for the show the day after tomorrow, Su Yu said mysteriously. Okay, let's wait for the show, Wei Liao smiled. Tang Chuan was also amused. Then I'll sell beer, drinks, popcorn, and mineral water in the front row. These two guys were just here to watch the show. However, judging from Su Yu's current momentum, Su Yu is definitely going to win. After all, he had a huge advantage. Ahem, let me ask you a bold question. What happened in T-City? Were you behind it? Tang Chuan looked at Su Yu and suddenly asked. Su Yu opened his half-closed eyes and gestured with his finger. Come here, I promise I'll leave your corpse intact. Wei Liao patted Tang Chuan's shoulder. You're really asking for a beating? No, I just thought of it all of a sudden. Tang Chuan looked aggrieved. Lord Su isn't that kind of person. Plus, Lord Su wouldn't do something like that when it comes to someone's life. You can ask me this next time. Lord Su doesn't even have to do anything. I'll definitely whip you to death with a leather whip dipped in chili water, Wei Liao laughed. What happened in T-City had nothing to do with Su Yu, so he would definitely not take the blame. It could only be said that the heavens were helping him. Evening Su Yu lay on the big bed, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep, thinking about Mr. Qin. But she knew that he was busy, so she didn't dare to send him a WeChat message. Suddenly, a WeChat notification popped up. She quickly picked it up and saw that it was Ai Yang. Sister Huamin, are you asleep? Not yet. The anime you introduced is very good. Ai Yang even sent a smiley face emoji. You also like Uzumaki Naruto, right? He is very optimistic. No, I like Gura. I think he's very similar to me. We're both abandoned children. Huamin was speechless for a moment before replying. How many episodes have you watched? More than 150. Didn't I tell you to watch 2 or 3 episodes a day? Huamin was speechless. But it's very good. I couldn't stop after watching 3 episodes. She could tell that Ai Yang was in a good mood. Then you have to control the time and rest early. Don't let it affect your sleep. I know. I followed your schedule and just went to the gym. I took a shower and drank some milk. I plan to watch 2 more episodes before going to bed. Okay, Sister Huamin, it's so nice to meet you. If only you were my real sister. If you want, you can treat me like your real sister. I don't mind having a superstar brother. Huh, I can go out and show off when I'm free. Huh, okay, then you rest. I'll watch for a while. After chatting, Huamin put down her phone and sighed slightly. Ai Yang's words were as innocent as a child's. Even Jixin wouldn't say something so childish like that. Speaking of Jixin, this guy who cared about the opposite sex, but not his humanity, had basically forgotten about his sister ever since he announced his relationship with Huang Yu. In the past, he would call her every 2 or 3 days. Now, other than liking her posts on WeChat, he was nowhere to be seen. Just as she was about to ask him if he was on WeChat, she saw that he had updated his WeChat moments. It was a photo of Huang Yu with the words, "The most beautiful scene in my life is meeting you." Damn, he even used the lyrics of Star and Moon mythology. Huamin didn't realize before that this guy was so good at flirting with girls. She sent a beckoning emoji to Jixin. He immediately replied, "Sis, what's up?" Chapter 604. You still know that I'm your sister? Ha ha ha. Sis, you're so resentful. You're an ingrate that only cares about your wife when you grow up and forget about your sister. How can I not be resentful? Sis, I'm not an ingrate. I'll take care of you when you're old. Fuck off. You're 19 and I'm 24. When I'm 80, you'll be 75. You'll still be able to take care of me when I'm old. Huamin cursed. Ha ha. Sis, you're so smart. I bet your PE teacher didn't teach you math. Don't talk nonsense with me. Let's get down to business. Okay, Princess Royal, please give me your orders. Haven't you been doing enough homework? Why are you going on dates so often? Dating is one thing, but you can't let your guard down. You still need to study. Otherwise, how can you go to GK with your level after graduation? Wow, sis, did you agree to let me go to brother-in-law's company? That depends on your performance. Your brother-in-law already told me, and I'm still observing. You can't do whatever you want just because you're Qin Shu's brother-in-law, okay? You have to be capable. GK is just a platform. How far you can fly is still up to you. Oh, I know. Sis, you're so naggy. You're becoming more and more like Mom. Oh right. When I came home yesterday, Mom told me about you. What did Mom say about me? I don't want to tell you. I'm afraid you won't be able to take it. Mom's always blabbering, you know that. Jing Jixin purposely tried to avoid the topic. Hurry up and tell me. Ahem. Mom said that your sister's been married for a while, but why isn't she pregnant? So? Huamin continued to ask. So Mom told me to tell you that you and brother-in-law should go to the hospital for a checkup when you have time. She wants to see if there's something wrong with either of you. Huamin felt like he was struck by a bolt from the blue. He was so shocked that he was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. That was why the elderly were worried for nothing. No one could get pregnant after getting married. This depended on fate and timing. Some people had it in a few months, some took more than 2 years, and some even took 7 or 8 years. This didn't mean that there was something wrong with his or Qin Shu's body. Mom's words aren't unreasonable. Sis, do you want to go for a checkup? Scram. All right, then I'll leave now. Good night, eldest princess. She wanted to teach Jixin a lesson and tell him not to think about dating all the time. But this brat, together with her mother, actually suspected that there was something wrong with her body. Did she look like someone who was infertile? The next morning, by the time Huamin got up and finished her breakfast, the servants had already wiped her car clean. Actually, it was not that Huamin was vain. Everyone liked a high-quality life, a luxurious mansion of 1,000 square meters and a large group of servants. This was probably everyone's dream. A young lady, are you going to work? Uncle Lee stood in front of the car and asked respectfully, Yes. Are you coming back tonight? I'll prepare dinner for you in advance. I'm coming back. Although Qin Shu didn't come back, she was still willing to stay here on the weekends. It was quiet and the environment was good. She originally planned to take Saturday and Sunday off, but Qin Shu had something to do at the last minute. She didn't want to stay any longer, so she canceled her vacation. Okay, have a safe trip. When Huamin drove to South Side, the nurse immediately ran up to her and said, Head nurse, you're really coming to work today? That's great. Someone was looking for you and hasn't left yet. Who is it? Huamin was confused. I don't know. He's waiting in your office. Okay. Huamin nodded. She put on her white coat and went straight to her office. Chapter 605. You're looking for me? When Huamin saw Jiang Xiaowei, she was slightly surprised. She remembered that she hadn't made an appointment with Jiang Xiaowei in the past few days. After the hypnosis failed, she had changed her treatment method for an Yang. Yeah, Jiang Xiaowei nodded. Today, she wore a long red dress with a white jacket. She looked very elegant and ladylike. Apparently, Jiang Xiaowei was 1 year older than Huamin, and she was still single. Gao ran gossiped about Jiang Xiaowei on WeChat. There were countless men chasing after her at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. However, none of them succeeded. This girl looked easy to get along with, but she was actually very hard to get along with. She didn't have many friends and spent most of her time on work. She studied psychology wholeheartedly and was known as a workaholic. What do you want to drink? Huamin casually placed the documents on the table. Tea, do you have it? Jiang Xiaowei smiled. Yes, I do. In order to refresh herself, Huamin prepared a lot of tea and coffee. She personally loved green tea, especially Westlake Longjing. It was her favorite. Therefore, when Qin Shu found out, he asked someone to pick fresh Longjing tea from the tea garden for her. Huamin took out the tea leaves from the cabinet and filled a pot with water from the water dispenser. He poured 2 cups and handed one to Jiang Xiaowei. Thank you. I remember. I haven't made an appointment with you recently, right? Huamin asked. Yes, that's why I'm curious. Have you given up on N.I. Yang's treatment? It turned out that Jiang Xiaowei was interested in N.I. Yang's case. Most geniuses like problems that couldn't be solved. No. Why would I give up? I just changed my plan, Huamin said as she took a sip of tea. What plan? Can you tell me about it? You seem to be very interested in his affairs. Huamin looked at Jiang Xiaowei somewhat defensively. Jiang Xiaowei put the tea aside and smiled. Don't worry. I'm not interested in an Yang. I'm interested in this case. I really want to know how you treat such a troublesome patient with depression and sleep disorders. You might be surprised if I tell you. Tell me about it. Jiang Xiaowei seemed to be getting more and more interested. After that, Huamin recounted how Ni Yang had gotten drunk and forced him to talk about the knot in his heart. After Jiang Xiaowei heard this, she was first slightly surprised, then she smiled. What are you laughing at? Do you think I'm weird too? No, I just think that your idea is very interesting. Why didn't I think of it? Huamin, did you know? Huamin, I've heard about you since a few months ago. You might not know this, but President Wu and my father are good friends. They often visit my house. My father likes to do academic research, so I sometimes have tea with them. Uncle Wu told me that there's a strange girl in their hospital who looks a little like me. Then, he told me about you. What about me? Huamin asked with a smile. You performed a C-section on a pregnant woman and got framed. When you wrote an academic paper on ophthalmology for Ning Ziyuan. When you saved Wu Xiaoxue child for her enemy. And, after you arrived at Southside, you proposed reforms to clean up the unhealthy atmosphere. Huh, I didn't know that I did so many things. Huamin suddenly realized. Back then, I already knew that you weren't an ordinary person. No, I'm very ordinary. You don't have to be humble. I'm very good at reading people. Not only do you have a high IQ, but you also have a high EQ. That's why you were able to marry someone as outstanding as Qin Shu, right? You even know this? Huamin was a little surprised. Chapter 606. Don't worry, I didn't investigate you on purpose. I just happened to find out. Anyways, I'm very interested in you. So, you have to be my friend, Jiang Xiaowei said domineeringly. You make it sound like I don't have a choice. Is that a threat? Huamin laughed. Of course it's a threat. You have to be my friend. Why? Because I like to be friends with people who are as smart as me. Miss Jiang, you're not modest at all. Why should I be modest? Smart is smart. That's the truth. Okay. So do you agree? Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin expectantly. Yes. Huamin nodded. Then she saw Jiang Xiaowei take something out of her bag and place it on the table. This is for you. It's a gift for the first friend I've made in 25 years. Ka. Huamin was shocked. Her first friend in 25 years. Who was she? Forget about the gift. You don't have to be so polite. No, take it. I rarely give people gifts. My purpose for coming here today is very clear. I want to be friends with you. I've already prepared the gift. Huamin slowly picked up the beautiful box and opened it. It was a Swarovski brooch. It was in the shape of a butterfly. It was very beautiful, and the wings were surrounded by diamonds. It looked expensive. This is too expensive. You can't measure the price of a gift. Do you know why I like butterflies? Jiang Xiaowei asked. Huamin was silent for a moment. Then, he slowly said, I think you admire the spirit of butterflies. It's a very painful process to turn from a caterpillar into a butterfly. However, as long as you persevere, there will be a day when you break out of the cocoon and become a butterfly. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin in shock. You're really smart to be able to see through this. I've liked butterflies since I was young. My family and colleagues all thought that I only liked butterflies for their appearance. However, that's not the case. When butterflies are caterpillars, they're extremely ugly and slow. All insects look down on them because they're so unremarkable. However, they persevere. No matter how others treat them, how they laugh at them, they finally survive the long period of transformation and become the most beautiful creature. You have a personality. Huamin's face. Don't confuse my personality with my attitude. My personality comes from who I am, and my attitude depends on who you are. You make a lot of sense. I don't know what to say. Huamin suddenly realized that not only did Jiang Xiaowei have a high EQ, but she also had a way with words. Even someone like her, who loved to talk about chicken soup for the soul, felt inferior in front of Jiang Xiaowei. At this moment, Jiang Xiaowei looked at her watch. It's about time. I have something to do, so I'm leaving. Let's have dinner together in a few days. Okay. Jiang Xiaowei got up and was about to leave. Huamin suddenly thought of something and shouted, Wait. Jiang Xiaowei turned around. She saw Huamin take out a box of Longjing tea and hand it to her. Here, a gift for a new friend. Jiang Xiaowei froze for a second. Then, she took the tea and smiled. After Jiang Xiaowei left, Huamin put away the brooch and put it in her bag. Jiang Xiaowei was such a strange girl, but for some reason, Huamin liked her a lot. Maybe President Wu was right. The two of them were similar in some ways. Seeing how arrogant she was just now, she really resembled herself from 7 years ago. Just then, Huamin's phone rang. Looking at the caller ID, it was Hua Xiqian. Chapter 607. After a moment of hesitation, Huamin picked it up. Hello? Mian, you know about what happened in T-City, right? Yeah, I do. Qin Chu went there, right? What do you want to know? Huamin was slightly displeased. I'm not asking about anything. I just want to say that if something happens over there, the new company's grand opening the day after tomorrow will be over. No, I watched the live stream, and he already said that the date won't change. That's because Suyu hasn't made his move yet. If Suyu uses his ultimate move, Qin Chu will be screwed. Suyu's ultimate move? Huamin was confused. Why did Qin Chu start a film and television company? Hua Xiqian chuckled. Huamin didn't say anything. She did know. Suyu isn't as frivolous as he appears to be. Imperial Star's success wasn't a coincidence. Qin Chu is very busy this time, and if Suyu uses his ultimate move, GK might lose miserably. That won't happen. I believe that Qin Chu has a plan. Mian, even if he has a plan, Qin Chu is just a mortal, not a god. He can't split himself, and if something happens over here, he won't be able to make it back in time. Plus, I think that what happened in T-City might have something to do with Suyu. You think he's behind it? Huamin was surprised. It's not impossible. When two companies compete, there are a lot of tricks up their sleeves. If Qin Chu is busy right now, of course, Suyu will be the biggest winner. Think about it. Impossible. Suyu isn't the kind of person who doesn't care about other people's lives. Huamin thought that Suyu was being ridiculous, but he wouldn't sacrifice so many people just to beat Qin Chu once. This kind of person was too scary. Nothing is impossible, Mian. Many people aren't as good as they seem. You're too naive. I'm just calling to remind you that you're on your own. Then, Hua Xiqian hung up the phone. Huamin's heart was once again in chaos. After much thought, she decided to ask Suyu. She logged onto Weibo and sent a private message to Suyu. Are you there? I'll always be here. The other side replied in a split second. I want to ask you something. Can you tell me the truth? Go ahead. Did you have something to do with the accident? After a while, Suyu didn't say anything. Huamian also felt that she might hurt him by asking. Of the Huamians of Huamian of her, S-Mians, I just want to hear it from you. If I said that it wasn't me, would you believe me? Suyu asked in all seriousness. I believe you. As long as you say that it wasn't you, I'll believe you. It wasn't me. It had nothing to do with me. Although I really want to beat Qin Chu, I'll do it fair and square. I won't do anything immoral. Okay, I got it. Then, Huamin didn't say anything else. Suyu thought for a moment and sent another message. If the day after tomorrow, I use my own method to stop GK's new company from opening, will you hate me? No, this is a battle between the two of you. As long as you don't cross my moral bottom line, I have no reason to hate you. Huamin's reply was very straightforward. Suyu let out a sigh of relief. He no longer had anything to worry about. The truth was, he was quite happy that Huamin asked him personally instead of hearing the rumors from someone else. This was enough to prove that Huamin was still a trustworthy person, right? Then, 5 seconds later, Suyu updated his Weibo. Thank you for believing in the person you see and not the person other people say I am. After this post was posted, it received 10,000 comments, 50,000 likes, and 20,000 shares within 3 minutes. Whoa, hubby, marry me. Lord Su, take me home. Lord Su, I want to have your babies. Lord Su, you haven't updated your Weibo in a while. Do you have a new girlfriend? Announce it. Lord Su is mighty and domineering. Anyone who hurts my Lord Su must die. Suyu's Weibo was filled with fans and was instantly flooded with comments. T-City, Qin Chu was busy all morning. During lunch, he sat down at a fast food restaurant and sat across from Assistant Yang. You're flying back to Sea City in a bit to prepare for the new company's opening tomorrow. What about you? Boss, you're not coming back with me? Assistant Yang was slightly surprised. Chapter 608. I can't go back. Things are complicated here. If I leave, no one will be able to control the situation. But I can't do it alone. Boss, what if Suyu makes a big move tomorrow? We'll deal with whatever comes our way. Did they sign a contract? Qin Chu asked. No. I heard they signed a contract of intent tomorrow morning. Okay, I got it. Is there a problem? Boss, they're probably waiting for tomorrow to stand us up. Huh? No way. Even if it's a contract of intent, they'll have to pay if they break it. Do you think Suyu needs money? Qin Chu asked back. Okay. Assistant Yang didn't know what to say. His boss was so considerate. Annie Liang signed a contract, right? When the time comes, there'll be a lot of people involved. Yeah, Annie Liang is a big star. With her and some B-list and C-list celebrities, they'll be able to hold the fort. So you can go back. I'll stay. Okay, boss. Assistant Yang admired his boss's brain and wisdom. Was he really a 27-year-old man? He was calm and collected in the face of danger. Most importantly, he always left a way out. What a highly resourceful person. If that was the case, GK would be on the list of the world's richest people soon. After a busy day at Southside, Huamian was exhausted when she got off work. Ever since Deputy Director Gua and his brother-in-law went in, the entire Southside became much quieter. Everything seemed to have changed. Everyone was in a better mood. More and more people looked at Huamian with admiration in their eyes. She was the hero who got rid of Deputy Director Gua, a parasite that had been around for thousands of years. When Huamian got off work, she took the viaduct and went back home to South Hill Manor. At a crossroad in the Gao family mansion, a black Lamborghini was parked on the side of the road. Ahem, I don't think she'll take this road today. She might be going back to South Hill, Wei Liao said. So you didn't say anything. He waited for another 10 or so minutes. Every time he missed Huamian, he would quietly wait on the side of the road and see her car drive by. Now that South Hill Manor was built, Huamian would occasionally not take this road, so you often waited for nothing? I'm puzzled. If you miss her, why don't you just go and look for her? When did you become so indecisive? Haven't you heard of this saying? What saying? Wei froze. Liking her is being presumptuous, while loving her is restraining herself. Now that my feelings for her have deepened, I can't be presumptuous anymore. I've learned to restrain myself. After all, I don't want to bring her trouble because of my one-sided love. Fuck, you make yourself sound so great. Wei Liao was shocked as well. Let's go have some tea. Not drink. I suddenly realized that Westlake Longjing is very delicious. Wei Liao. As soon as Huamian arrived at South Hill Manor, he received a call from Qin Chu. He was instantly in a good mood. Honey, are you home yet? Yeah, I just got home. How are things on your end? Everything is going well. Qin Chu had always been the type to report only good news. That's good. When are you coming back? Huamian suddenly realized that Qin Chu had never stayed out for more than 2 days. Huamian really missed him. It was as if he had been gone for days. Soon. Qin Chu didn't give an answer in the end. Just as Huamian was about to speak, he heard a man on the other end of the phone say, President Qin, the government is here. Honey, I have to go. Remember to eat and sleep on time. Honey, Huamian reluctantly called out. Yeah? I miss you so much, Huamian said. His nose felt stuffy, and he suddenly felt like crying. Chapter 609. Huamian's words instantly softened Qin Chu's stressful heart. Be good, I'll be back soon. Be careful. Okay. Even though time was tight, Qin Chu still found time to talk to Huamian on the phone every day. Huamian remembered reading on the internet that if someone had you in their heart, they would contact you no matter how busy they were. If someone didn't have you in their heart, they would use all sorts of excuses to not contact you. Even though Qin Chu kept saying that everything was going well and that everything was going smoothly, Huamian wasn't stupid. In that kind of situation, how could everything be going smoothly? He had to deal with the family's crying, the government's pressure, his peers' backstabbing, his competitors' mockery, and the culprit's excuses and evasions. Qin Shu had to deal with a huge mess all by himself. At that moment, she regretted her decision to study medicine. If she had studied finance, she could have at least helped him out at the company. But now, there was nothing she could do. Huomin's heart ached as he watched Qin Shu try his best to keep himself safe and cover up all the pressure. Their Mr. Qin always had to shoulder everything by himself. T-City. After negotiating with the government officials, Qin Shu felt a little depressed as he was faced with waves of oppression. He walked to a corner and made a phone call. "Rick, do you need anything?" The owner of Seductive Fox was a man of few words. The building collapsed because the construction team cut corners. The person in charge of the construction team knew something would happen and fled the country a month ago. I asked someone to check his immigration records. He's currently in Chicago, USA. "I know what to do," Lily Case said, understanding tacitly. "I want him to live, the sooner the better." "Okay." After hanging up, Qin Shu walked to the rooftop of the skyscraper. He bent down and looked at the people walking around below. When a person stood at a high place, the scenery was beautiful, but the danger was also relatively high. The 4 victims were all middle-aged men between the ages of 33 to 45. He was supposed to play the role of father and son in the family. But because of those unscrupulous and black-hearted businessmen who cut corners, they died tragically under the reinforced concrete. Wasn't it said that people were born good? Since when did the human heart rot to this extent? You want to use other people's lives as a foundation to build your so-called wealth? Looking at the family members who were in pain, Qin Shu didn't say anything and paid 3 million yuan for each of them. They would continue to invest in the future. However, he knew that no matter how much money he gave, he would not be able to exchange it for a fresh life. Sometimes, being alive was so precious. Even though it wasn't his fault, he was willing to make it up to him because he was the same as Huomin. He couldn't bear to see any life or death parting in the world. He couldn't bear to see any tragedies that had anything to do with him. At this moment, Qin Shu's phone rang. "Chairman Qin, I've found it. The person in charge of the construction, Wang Dahai, is actually a bait. There's a mastermind behind this." I knew it. Qin Shu knew that things were not as simple as cutting corners. It seemed like there really was a dirty plot behind this. "We all think that your new rival, Su Yu, did it. After all, he's our public enemy number 1. Hearing Su Yu's name, Qin Shu was slightly silent. Chapter 610. It can't be him. Although we are rivals, he wouldn't do such a thing. Qin Shu was very rational. He wouldn't accuse Su Yu of something just because he was Su Yu's rival in love. Su Yu was born in the powerful Su family. With the Su family's education style, Su Yu was an arrogant young master. There was no need for him to risk someone's life to fight with him. Hence, he was sure that it wasn't Su Yu. As long as we catch Wang Dahai, he will know everything. Yes, I believe it will be soon. Qin Shu nodded. He trusted Wang Dahai's style of doing things. Rick's family was quite powerful in America. Now they just had to wait quietly. After Yang returned, he went straight to the company's headquarters to plan for the next day. Everything was prepared according to the boss's instructions. However, at 10 p.m., something happened. Annie Liang's private life had always been messy, but it had never been exposed. There were only rumors circulating. This time, a forum exposed 3 intimate photos of Annie Liang with a few men in a nightclub. One of them was dancing with a man on a dance floor. Another was wearing revealing clothes and holding a cigarette in her hand. The last photo was of her sitting on a man's lap. The 2 of them were naked, and their behavior was very indecent. It was a far cry from her usual image of a domineering goddess on TV. The men's faces were very blurry and couldn't be distinguished. However, Annie Liang's photos were very clear. It was obvious that they wanted to defame her. Annie Liang was one of the most important guests on the red carpet tomorrow. Today, her scandal was exposed, and she wouldn't be able to appear tomorrow. She had spent so much money to sign a celebrity, but she was useless. After Yang saw the news, he immediately called Qin Shu. "Boss, have you seen the news?" Yang asked with a sad face. "Yes. What should we do?" "Follow the original plan." Qin Shu was still very calm. What about Annie Leong? Don't let her come. Cancel her qualification and let her go abroad for a vacation. She can come back after the PR side is done. Okay. Yang nodded nervously. He thought that the storm would be over soon. Who would have thought that the next morning, when there were still 2 hours before the opening ceremony? When Assistant Yang received a message, he almost vomited blood. All the artists who had signed a contract of intent had broken it. They all returned to Imperial Star, including Jian Tong, Cotton Candy, and the others. The key issue now was whether money was small or face was big. Annie Leong was no longer appearing. If all these people left, only the third-rate celebrities would be left on the red carpet. Then, wouldn't GK film and television become the laughingstock of everyone? Assistant Yang, what should we do? What should we do? The manager of the public relations department was also confused. How would I know? Why don't we ask the boss first? Assistant Yang dialed his boss number, but sadly, his boss phone was turned off. It's over. We're dead for sure this time. Assistant Yang was like an ant on a hot pan. What happened? The boss is shut down. What should we do? Xiao Yang wiped his sweat and replied, Don't worry, I'll give the chairman a call. At a time like this, we can only rely on the chairman. Yang called the Qin family's villa. Lady Qin answered the call. The chairman isn't home. He went out to play golf and didn't bring his phone. Mrs. Chairman, this is too urgent. If no one takes care of it, we'll become a laughingstock. What should we do? How would I know? If you can't get in touch with my son, why don't you contact his woman? Isn't that woman very powerful? She can fly, right? Lady Qin said sourly. Oh, right, then I'll call a young lady. Upon hearing Lady Qin's reminder, Assistant Yang immediately pulled up Huamin's phone number from the secretary's office. Then he dialed hello. Huamin had just woken up and was about to eat breakfast. A young lady, I'm President Qin's assistant, Assistant Yang. The company is in a crisis right now, and it's extremely urgent. Can you come to the headquarters and give us some advice? Assistant Yang said anxiously. Me? Huamin was slightly surprised. Chapter 611. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm just his wife. Don't you need to talk to my husband about company matters? But I can't get through to President Qin's phone. It's probably out of battery. Assistant Yang wanted to cry. Then, where's the chairman? Huamin asked anxiously. The chairman isn't home. I just called and told him that he went out to play golf. His wife told us to talk to you about this. She told you to talk to me? Huamin asked faintly. Yes. Okay, wait a second. I'll be right there. After Huamin hung up the phone, he immediately put away his things and rushed downstairs. A young lady, you're not eating breakfast? Butler Uncle Lee asked. I'm not eating, Uncle Lee. I have to go to the company. I'm sorry for the trouble. Don't waste food, everyone eat. Okay, I'll go arrange it. The truth was, Huamin felt quite guilty. It was early in the morning, and the kitchen and maids had been busy preparing breakfast for her. But now, she said she wasn't eating. Huamin got in his car and called Southside to ask for a day off. Then, he drove directly to GK headquarters in less than 20 minutes. He sped all the way the fastest car in history. GK headquarters, Assistant Yang personally went downstairs to pick up Huamin. A young lady, come with me. Huamin nodded and followed Assistant Yang up to a small conference room on the top floor. There were 7 or 8 people in the conference room. They were the people in charge of the film and television company, people from the public relations department, and executives involved in the planning of this event. Zhang Linyue was also present. Assistant Yang pointed at Huamin and introduced, Let me introduce you to our president's wife, Mrs. Huamin. After Assistant Yang finished speaking, everyone was dumbfounded, except for Zhang Linyue. She quietly looked at Huamin with an indifferent expression. Hello, a young lady. Everyone greeted her. Huamin nodded in greeting. Hello, everyone. Please take a seat. Afterwards, Assistant Yang took out a bunch of documents and placed them on the table. He then said anxiously, Time is limited, so I'll keep this short. Boss has been planning for the opening of his new company. Originally, he had everything prepared, but since last night, Annie Liang's scandal was exposed, so she can no longer walk the red carpet. Boss also told her not to show up. Therefore, we are only left with the stars who have signed agreements of intent with us. But this morning, those stars collectively went on strike. To put it bluntly, they breached the agreement, and all of them returned to Imperial Star. Now, we are only left with some unknown second and third-rate stars. We don't have anyone who can control the situation. The opening ceremony is less than 2 hours away. At that time, we will be the center of attention, and we will be laughed at. At the same time, our company's reputation will be affected. Since half an hour ago, I have been unable to contact President Sheen. Therefore, in this emergency situation, I have chosen a young lady to help us come up with ideas. If anyone has any suggestions, please raise them. After little Yang finished speaking, everyone fell silent and lowered their heads with furrowed brows at a time like this. Who could come up with any good ideas? Jiang Linyue was the first to speak. I signed Annie Liang, and she's the only one who signed a real contract. The scandal was probably exposed last night because of Imperial Star. Suyu is not a gentleman to take advantage of this situation. Otherwise, we should hire some people to smear Imperial Star and Suyu's reputation. What do you think? Chapter 612. Director Jiang, it's no use complaining right now. Let's think of a solution. Forget about defaming him. Let's take care of our own business first. It's best if we don't get into big trouble, Assistant Yang advised. What can we do? In my opinion, we should just postpone the date and wait for President Qin to come back, Jiang Linyue said nonchalantly as she played with her nails. Before anyone else could speak, Huamin said, "We can't change the date. President Qin already announced on TV that he won't change the date. If we change the date now, everyone will think that he's going back on his word, and it will affect his reputation in the future." Haha, is that so? Everyone knows that, but what else can we do? A young lady. You're so resourceful. Why don't you tell us what to do? Jiang Linyue was full of hostility towards Huamin. She wanted to use this opportunity to fight back. Huamin immediately knew what Jiang Linyue was thinking. Ignoring her, he looked around and said, "Don't worry. The only thing we can do right now is to discuss what to do." Then, Huamin looked at Assistant Yang and asked, "Is there no room for negotiation for the celebrities that breached the contract?" "Yes, they've all turned off their phones and won't pick up their phones. Obviously, this is a scheme by Imperial Star. They wiped us out and then disappeared at a critical moment, leaving us with no celebrities to use," Assistant Yang said, breaking down. "Then, if we can get a famous celebrity to join us, will the problem be solved?" Huamin asked again. "Not only that, but the celebrities that can appear on our red carpet must be signed with our company. Otherwise, it'll be very embarrassing if the media expose them." It sounded like it would be quite difficult. "Okay, I got it. How about this? Wait for me." Then, Huamin got up and walked out of the conference room. Huamin walked out of the conference room and picked up his phone. She did have a candidate in mind, but she felt like the chances of success were very low. Huamian called Yang. "That's right," she called him. The call went through, and it was indeed Ingzi's voice. "Hello, I'm looking for Yang. He's busy. Who are you?" "I'm Huamin." "Oh, is something the matter?" The agent didn't like Huamin very much, especially after the incident with Yang when he was drunk. She was still brooding over it, and had even written several letters of complaint to President Wu. "It's like this. I want to ask if he's signed with a new company." "What does that have to do with you? Why do you care so much about which company he signs with?" Ingzi's tone was harsh. "No, I just wanted to ask, if he's not sure yet, can he consider GK Film and Television?" "Don't be ridiculous. GK Film and Television, that new company? Why would we take the risk and choose a new company? To tell you the truth, we've already decided to go to Imperial Star. President Su offered us a very good deal. Not only did he offer us a sky-high price, but he also gave us a lot of benefits that GK can't afford. Are you really not going to consider it?" "I won't consider it. Goodbye." After saying that, Ingzi hung up the phone before Huamin could reply. Huamin's brows furrowed slightly. "Sister Ingzi, who was that?" On the other end, Yang, who was touching up his makeup, looked over and asked, "Oh, a small agency. They're asking if you're going to sign with them." "Didn't we already sign with Imperial Star?" "Turn them down." Yang didn't know what was going on. "I already turned them down." Ingzi put down her phone and placed it in Ni Yang's bag. Then she walked over. Huamin looked down at his watch. Time was indeed tight. She gritted her teeth and dialed another number. She really didn't want to beg that person for help. But for Qin Chu, she decided to sacrifice her dignity for once. Chapter 613. Little Sister Mian, you actually called me? Hua Xiqian sounded slightly surprised. After all, no matter what happened, Huamin never contacted Hua Xiqian. Even after Ji Xin's car accident, she gritted her teeth and didn't contact him. Both of them knew that she didn't like him. Huamin remained silent. Little Sister Mian, do you need something? Yeah. What is it? Hua Xiqian woke up from his bed and rubbed his eyes. You have a lot of connections. Can you introduce me to some A-list celebrities? One is enough. You want to help GK recruit people. Yeah, but I heard that GK doesn't need people. Annie Liang went over, right? Also, didn't a lot of people leave Imperial Star? Hua Xiqian asked, even though he already knew the answer. Something happened to them, and they can't make it. The red carpet ceremony is in less than 2 hours, and they're in a hurry. So, can you help me? So, Little Sister Mian, are you begging me? Hua Xiqian smiled proudly. He held his phone in one hand and took a sip of water with the other. Yes, I'm begging you. But why should I help you? As expected, Hua Xiqian wasn't easy to talk to. I won't let you help me for free. I can pay you. How much? For the first time, Huamin learned how to use money to pressure people, just like Su Yu. Money? Haha, Little Sister Mian, why are you so cute? Don't joke around. Do I look like I need money? The Hua family isn't bankrupt, right? Then what do you want? Tell me. About that, can you really satisfy my every request? As long as it's within my means and doesn't cross my bottom line or moral line, Huamin added. Of course. I like you so much. How could I bear to make things difficult for you? Hua Xiqian smiled. So, do you agree to help me? Huamin asked nervously. She was actually a little scared, so she lacked confidence. If Hua Xiqian rejected her as well, she would really be at her wit's end. Were they really going to watch GK film and television become a laughingstock? It was impossible for her to beg Su Yu, because he was her opponent. If she begged him, she and Qin Chu would lose face. No problem. You came to me because you're sure that I'll help you. What's there to worry about? You're as scheming as always. That idiot Hua Yinyan won't be able to learn this, even if she learns it for the rest of her life. Let's not talk about this nonsense right now. I heard that you're close to Best Actress Mo Shui and she hasn't signed with a new company yet. Can she come? Huamin did his homework before making the call. Best Actress Mo Shui was even more famous than Annie Liang. Because she focused on the international market, she rarely acted in domestic movies. Most of her movies were big Hollywood productions. Although she was only a supporting actress, her international influence was already very high. Apparently, Mo Shui was close to Hua Xiqian. Their relationship was exposed many times, and there was even news of their marriage. However, for some reason, it never came to fruition. Many tabloids said that Mo Shui was Hua Xiqian's favorite woman. If it weren't for Hua Zhenghai's insistence on opposing a daughter-in-law from the entertainment industry, they would have been married a long time ago. However, the two of them never said anything, so the specifics remain to be seen. You little rascal, did you do your homework? Yes or no, just tell me. Huamin was a little impatient. Of course, no problem. I promise that Shui will come to GK and sign the contract within an hour. Hua Xiqian was very confident. That's great. Huamin was ecstatic. But I have one condition. What is it? Huamin listened quietly on the other end of the phone. If Hua Xiqian's request was too much, she would never agree, even if she couldn't sign Mo Shui. Chapter 614. I want you to come back to the Hua Mansion this weekend and spend the night there, Hua Xiqian said, word for word. What? Huamin frowned slightly. You don't have to worry about that. I just want you to come back and spend the night there. That's it? Huamin asked uncertainly, still holding a grudge against Hua Xiqian. He felt like a cunning person like Hua Xiqian wouldn't just make such a simple request. Yes, that's it. It's a good deal for you, sis. Don't think too much about it. Huasiqian saw that Huamin was very cautious and hesitant, so he smiled and said, "Okay, deal." Huamin replied without hesitation. Good, it's a deal. After hanging up the phone, Huamin finally felt a little better. However, wasn't Mo Shui a little too shabby? After all, GK was a well-known financial group in China. The opening ceremony of a film and television company should be very grand. Inside the suite of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in T-City, Qin Shu dialed again and again, no matter if he used his own phone or the hotel's landline. He just couldn't get through. It was as if all the phones around him were malfunctioning. However, he could call an unknown number, but he couldn't get through to Huamin, Gao Ran, Rick, and the others. President Qin, we're done for. The opening ceremony is in 2 hours, and we don't know what's going on over there. Is it too late to fly back now? Qin Shu looked at the man and asked. It's too late. What about a private jet? A private jet? If it's fast, it's possible, the man beside him said. Okay, I'll go borrow one right now. Call Mayor Gao immediately. Okay, President Qin. Qin Shu felt that someone was behind this and used a hacker to cut off his communication with C-City. Even if he sent an email, it would be too late. After all, this wasn't something that could be explained in a few sentences. Since Qin Shu's phone had an anti-hacker function, the person who did this could only block his communication with T-City. It seems that there are people who want me to lose. Qin Shu sneered. 3 minutes later, Qin Shu spoke to Mayor Gao of T-City. Then, Mayor Gao borrowed a private jet from a local tycoon. Qin Shu took a private jet and flew straight back to C-City. But according to the time, the opening ceremony would begin by the time he returned. Time was really tight. Huamin had just finished dealing with an important matter and was about to return to the meeting room to make plans. Then his phone rang. It was an Yang. Hello? Sister Huamin, did you just call me? Okay. Huamin nodded. Sister Ingzi doesn't like you very much, so she didn't tell me. However, I sent her away and secretly looked at the caller ID on my phone. You must be looking for me for something, right? The truth is, I wanted to ask if you could sign with GK. GK? Why? And Yang froze slightly. He didn't expect Huamin to be talking about work. The truth is, GK's president, Mr. Qin Shu, is my husband. Huamin decided to tell him the truth. GK's big boss is your husband? And Yang was shocked as well. Yes, GK has been planning to start a film and television company, but something happened. My husband is stuck in T-City, and all the celebrities who wanted to sign with GK have gone back to Imperial Star. The opening ceremony is about to begin, but there aren't any celebrities to support it. It's very embarrassing, so I wanted to ask if you could come. I see. And Yang slightly hesitated. Don't worry about it. It's okay if you don't come. However, if you do, we'll treat you the same way as Imperial Star. We won't mistreat you. Sister Huamin, the truth is, I don't care about material things anymore. I know, so I don't want to give you a hard time. I just wanted to ask you with a glimmer of hope. Sister Huamin, if Sister Ingzi finds out that I signed with GK in private, she'll kill me, and Yang said slowly. Okay, I got it. Huamin was just about to hang up when Yang continued. Even if she kills me, I'll still help you this time. Wait for me. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Huamin froze in shock. Her heart raced. Was she sure she heard right? Chapter 615. See you in a bit, Sister Huamin. Then, before Huamin could reply, Yang quickly hung up the phone. When Huamin returned to the conference room, she felt like she was floating. It was as if everything that happened just now was an illusion. She didn't have high hopes for Yang. After all, they weren't close enough. But as for Huasiqian, to be honest, she knew that as long as she called, he would definitely help her. Huamin was dressed very casually today. She planned to go to work in the morning, so she only wore a pair of black pencil pants and a pink shirt. She also wore a small white jacket. When she returned, Assistant Yang immediately stood up. A young lady, there's less than an hour left. MHM. Huamin nodded. Then, she casually picked up the bottle of water on the table and took a sip. So what should we do? Just wait. We'll know in half an hour. What's the result? Assistant Yang asked. Mo Schwer and Ni Yang will both arrive in half an hour, sign the contract, and walk the red carpet. Huffed. As soon as Huamin finished speaking, Jiang Linyue started laughing. A young lady? Are you kidding with us? Mo Schwer. That international movie queen who's so arrogant that her nose is pointing at the sky. Why would she sign with us? She didn't even want to go to Imperial Star. I heard that she wants to sign with Hollywood. Also, Ni Yang won't sign with us either. Internal sources say that Ni Yang signed with Imperial Star for 300 million yuan, Jiang Linyue said in disdain. I'm sorry, Director Jiang. I don't have time to joke with you guys. Now, don't just sit here. Go do your own things and prepare for the opening ceremony. After speaking, Huamin turned to look at Xiaoyang. Please prepare a dress for me. I can't wear this to the red carpet. Huamin also threw caution to the wind. Although she really hated being on camera and being exposed, if Qin Shu did not come back, she would walk the red carpet on behalf of Qin Shu. Okay, a young lady, please wait a moment. Do you really believe that woman? She must be bluffing. Those two celebrities won't come. That's ridiculous. Jiang Linyue thought Huamin was delusional. Perhaps he was under too much pressure, so he was having delusions. However, everyone else listened to Huamin, especially Assistant Yang, who didn't care about what Jiang Linyue said at all. They were busy with what they needed to do. Huamin wore a pure white gown that Assistant Yang had someone deliver to her. It was off-shoulder and simple, but it was very elegant. Apparently, this gown was Chanel's newest design. Victoria, the wife of soccer star David Beckham, wore it at Fashion Week just a day ago. It was a very elegant gown without any embellishments or patterns, but it was still breathtaking. After putting on the gown, Huamin sat down obediently and allowed the makeup artist to do her makeup. Give me a thicker makeup. It's best if it doesn't look like me. Okay, a young lady. Huamin thought that it would be better if her makeup was a little more exaggerated. That way, not many people would recognize her. Half an hour later, after Huamin finished her makeup, she stood up. When Assistant Yang walked in, he was shocked. A young lady? He asked uncertainly. Yeah, it's me, Huamin calmly replied. The young lady that Assistant Yang saw was no longer the same young lady from an hour ago. The bare-faced goddess, a young lady, was wearing exaggerated smoky makeup. Her eyeliner was slightly upturned, making her look very flirtatious. Her eyeshadow was also made up of 3 different colors, black, gray, and coffee. It was a perfect combination. Her lips were especially red, but they were delicate and beautiful. If it were anyone else, they might be called a monster, but Huamin's face was stunning. A young lady, no one will recognize you if you put on makeup like this. That's my goal. That's right. She didn't want anyone to recognize her. Assistant Yang thought that a young lady was just as capricious as his boss. If you're not a family, you won't enter the same house. This saying was quite true. Just then, the female manager of the PR department ran in her high heels. Young, a young lady, Assistant Yang, great news. Ni Yang and Mo Schwer have arrived and are waiting for a young lady to sign the contract. Huh? Where's a young lady? The PR manager was speechless. Chapter 616. Huamin immediately said slowly, I'm here. The manager was shocked when she saw Huamian. He was a completely different person from half an hour ago. Even you can't recognize me. Looks like it's a success. A young lady, please come over and sign the contract. Okay. Huamin followed the people from GK to the VIP room. Mo Schwer, and Ni Yang sat there. You signed with GK too? Mo Schwer was slightly surprised when she saw Ni Yang. Yeah, but didn't internal sources say that you're going to Imperial Star? Mo Schwer was confused. Internal sources also said that you're going to sign with Hollywood. Ni Yang replied with a question. I'm signing with GK because of my friend. Me too. Okay. Mo Schwer was speechless. One phone call from Huasiqian was enough to make her sacrifice her life for him. She was deeply in love with Huasiqian for 5 years. The reason why she became famous was because of Hua Xiqian's support. However, she waited for so long and still couldn't marry into the Hua family. To be honest, she really wanted to give up. However, today, Hua Xiqian suddenly called her and told her to sign with GK. She was extremely excited. Hua Xiqian didn't want her to sign with GK in the States. Did that mean that they still had a chance? Women were all naive and stupid, especially those who were infatuated. Imo Shui was no exception. Hua Xiqian managed to get Hua Xiqian, who Imperial Star spent a lot of money on but couldn't get. And Ai Yang, who is rumored to have signed with Imperial Star for 300 million yuan, was also here. He didn't tell his agent that he was here. He only wore a thin shirt and a mask and hailed a cab. He looked like a mess, but he was full of sincerity. Sister Huamin. And Ai Yang stood up when he saw Huamin walk in. You can still recognize me like this? Huamin asked, amused. I also often wear heavy makeup, so I'm more sensitive to this. Okay, sit down. Seeing that Ai Yang was wearing too little, Huamin couldn't bear it. This child was too practical. Xiao Yang, turn on the air conditioner. Okay, a young lady? You're President Qin's wife? But, is President Qin married? Mo Shui was confused. Let's not talk about this for now. The two of you, let's start signing the contract. Do you have any problems with it? What are your conditions? After that, Huamin took the two contract from his secretary. Both of them offered 300 million, exactly the same as Imperial Star's. The two of them looked at each other for a moment and didn't say anything. They picked up their pens and signed their names confidently. The two of them signed the contract because they didn't care about money at all. They only cared about favors. After Huamin took the contract, he picked up Qin Shu's signature and stamped it. Then, he signed his name and stamped it with his thumbprint. Thank you. From now on, GK Film and Television will definitely support you. That's not a problem. We'll start in 40 minutes, right? We didn't bring our costumes, Mo Shui said. We're all ready. Come with me. After Huamin spoke, he walked the two of them to the makeup artist, and they began to change and do their makeup. Time was of the essence, so 2 stylists were assigned to each of them. A young lady, you're so resourceful. You made 2 phone calls and invited 2 superstars. How'd you do it? Did you cast a spell on them? Xiaoyang looked at Huamin with admiration. Huamin was speechless. Nothing, I just happened to know a friend of mine, so I called him. Oh, I see. Xiaoyang nodded, extremely excited. He thought that they were done for this time, but who would have thought that a young lady would be able to turn the tide at such a critical moment? Any one of the 2 big bulls that he had signed could defeat the so-called A-listers of Imperial Star in a second. Jian Tong and Mian Mian were nothing in front of them. Annie Liang wasn't even worth mentioning. At the Hilton Hotel, hundreds of luxury cars were waiting, all for the red carpet to be rolled out one after another. Many people from the business and political world would be there as well. Regardless of whether Qin Shu was there or not, they still had to show him some respect. Young Master Su, do you think Qin Shu will cry when he sees a bunch of third-rate celebrities walking the red carpet? Wei Liao laughed at Su Yu's predicament. Su Yu didn't say anything, but the corners of his mouth curved up. Chapter 617. He really wanted to see what kind of god Qin Shu was, to be able to turn the situation around. In a bit, when all the celebrities are done, you can go up and congratulate them. Don't make them think that you're a petty competitor, Wei Liao suggested. Of course, Su Yu continued to be proud. Although he hadn't made any progress in pursuing Huamin, he still felt good about beating Qin Shu in the business world. After all, he was Huamin's current husband. Huh? Why did the word current pop into his mind? He made it sound like Huamin could get a divorce, but there was still a next one. At this thought, Su Yu couldn't help but laugh. This was the best day he'd been in a while. At 9:30 a.m., the red carpet was laid out from the entrance of the Hilton Hotel in Sea City to the auditorium. Hundreds of media reporters came to surround them and take photos. Many famous people from the business world and the political world also came. However, they all entered the venue and waited for the lunch banquet. The people walking the red carpet were all GK's executives, as well as their contracted celebrities. After the famous male and female hosts gave their opening remarks, the red carpet officially began. Some third-rate celebrities began to enter the venue, and everyone waited with bated breath. I heard that President Qin isn't in the city. He won't be able to make it to today's opening ceremony. Yeah, things in T-City haven't been settled yet, so President Qin probably won't come back. I heard that Annie Leong won't be able to make it either because a fan saw her in Thailand this morning. She probably went abroad to avoid the limelight. If this guy can't come, that guy can't come. GK's grand red carpet is going to turn into a gathering of small celebrities. Everyone began to discuss. After 7 or 8 small celebrities walked onto the red carpet, suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared at the end of the red carpet. She wore a bright red evening gown with a V-shaped back. She wore Korean-style nude makeup, stunning everyone. Someone in the crowd yelled, "Look, isn't that Mo Shui? I can't believe she's here. Oh, isn't she going to Hollywood? Why did she sign with GK? Yeah, I haven't seen Mo Shui in a long time. I heard that her movie with a Hollywood star is going to be released next month. She's so beautiful now. She's so different from an international model. She's so elegant." The man in the black Bentley couldn't stay calm either. Fuck. Mo Shui. Why is she here? Tang Chuan was going crazy. Then, Wei Liao also went crazy. Su Yu, on the other hand, was still fine. He only snorted coldly. Looks like this is Hua Xiqian's masterpiece. Hua Xiqian? Why would he go against you? Wei Liao was startled. He's not going against me. He's trying to help Hua Min. So you seem to have seen through the situation. Help Hua Min? Is his relationship with Hua Min that good? Wei Liao was a little confused. He didn't understand at all. At this moment, another scream came from the crowd. The surrounding reporters and fans were about to go crazy. Look, and Ai Yang. And Ai Yang is here. Oh my God, he's here. He's so handsome. I haven't seen him smile in a long time. And Ai Yang's appearance caused a huge commotion. This was because he was even more influential than Mo Shui. Ai Yang was famous for being cold and arrogant, so he rarely smiled so. When he walked down the red carpet in a black suit with a charming smile on his face, the crowd went crazy and the fans screamed, "This is going to be interesting." Su Yu smiled faintly. Mo Shui and Ai Yang. Superstars began to appear one after another. Didn't Ai Yang say that he signed a contract with them? What kind of mistake did they make? As soon as Su Yu finished speaking, Wei Liao immediately said, "Lord Su, look, the woman behind Ai Yang. The woman with smoky makeup. Why does she look so familiar?" Su Yu narrowed his eyes and took a closer look. He was completely petrified. Chapter 618. Is Hua Min crazy? Su Yu was speechless as soon as he opened his mouth. Wei Liao almost vomited blood upon hearing Su Yu's words. Is that Hua Min? Wei Liao thought to himself. No wonder she looks so familiar. It's Hua Min. But today wasn't Halloween. Was it really okay for her to cross-dress and cosplay in public? That's Hua Min. Oh my God, she's really my mother. Tang Chuan was also shocked. It's definitely her. I'd recognize her even if she turned into ashes, Su Yu said with certainty. That's right. Su Yu had watched Hua Min multiple times a day and had memorized most of her facial features. Well, what's going on? I don't understand at all, Wei Liao mumbled. Hua Min's appearance not only confused Su Yu and the others, but also confused many of the media. None of them knew Hua Min, but they saw her appear on the red carpet behind Ai Yang. She looked different, so they furiously snapped photos of Hua Min. She's probably one of the newbies selected by GK. I've never seen her before, a reporter guessed. I think so. Or else why would she appear behind Ai Yang? It seems like GK is becoming more and more mysterious. Everyone was chatting away. Our Lord Su's eyes were glued to her. Hey, stop looking. You might never be able to look away. Wei Liao waved his hand in front of Su Yu's face. Smoky makeup seems to suit her. Su Yu mumbled quietly. Wei Liao looked at him and actually felt that what he said made sense, so he nodded. I have the same feeling. It's amazing. That's why I said Hua Min is a weirdo. Only a weirdo like him can control such a weirdo style. Ha! Lord Su, I don't think the person you fell in love with is an earthling at all. Tang Chuan couldn't stop laughing when he heard their conversation. Although Huamin didn't have much experience on the stage, she was determined to hold on for GK for a while. Therefore, he stood on the stage and allowed the media to take photos of him. There were even media outlets that wanted to interview him, trying to get first-hand information. Fortunately, they were all stopped by Assistant Yang and the people from the Public Relations Department. Jiang Linyue watched from below and was extremely jealous. Why was this woman so capable? Jiang Linyue thought she was awesome enough to win over the pretentious Annie Liang. However, in the last 2 hours, Huamin signed 2 extremely influential superstars, Mo Schwerer and Anai Yang. She was speechless. Huamin originally thought that GK was finally in the limelight this time. Where her husband came back, she would be able to tell him that she didn't embarrass him. However, just as the red carpet was about to end, a silver Maybach screeched to a stop outside the entrance. The person inside got out of the car. He wore a dark gray slim-fit suit. His cold and handsome face couldn't hide his peerless beauty. Even if he didn't smile, you would still be breathtakingly beautiful. It looks like President Qin is here in person. Huh. Isn't President Qin in T-City? I thought he wasn't coming. I didn't hear anything about him coming back. Guys, look at the 2 people behind President Qin. Oh my God, are my eyes playing tricks on me? Qin Shu's appearance completely shocked the crowd. After a moment of silence, screams and screams filled the air. Behind Qin Shu was a young man and woman. They were foreigners with blonde hair and blue eyes. The man wore a black tuxedo, and the woman wore a golden V-neck dress. They were extremely dazzling. Wei Liao took a deep breath and looked at Su Yu sympathetically. I think you lost. Am I seeing things? Weren't the 2 people behind Qin Shu the most popular American idols? Because they starred in 7 American TV series, The Vampire Earl. They played a vampire couple and became famous all over the world. However, they appeared here. It was too strange. Huamin watched as Qin Shu walked towards her from the end of the red carpet. For a moment, she couldn't open her eyes because his kingly aura was too dazzling. She even wondered if she was dreaming. Chapter 619. Qin Shu walked towards Huamin, one step at a time. The crowd was still filled with screams and the sound of cameras clapping. Christina, Andrew. Many people didn't care about their image and crazily shouted the names of the 2 foreign superstars. The 2 superstars walked down the red carpet hand in hand with smiles on their faces. Then they posed for selfies and waved to the people around them. Fuck. I can't take it anymore. I'm going to get an autograph. Tang Chuan couldn't take it anymore and pushed open the car door to get out. However, Wei Liao stopped him. Sit still. Don't make things difficult for Lord Su at a time like this. I'm a true fan of Christina. I created a Facebook account for her. Tang Chuan looked like he was wronged. Sit still. Don't even think about hitting on foreign girls. She has a partner, and there are so many reporters here. Don't make a fool of yourself. In the end, Wei Liao extinguished Tang Chuan's desire to chase after his idol. Su didn't say anything and just watched quietly from the car. Qin Shu walked up to Huamin. Huamin thought that even if other people didn't recognize him, Qin Shu definitely wouldn't as expected. Qin Shu walked up to her and held her hand in front of everyone. Then, he whispered in her ear, Honey, thank you for your hard work. Huamin shook his head. Just as he was about to speak, he felt a lump in his throat and almost burst into tears. She used to be strong, but why did she cry so much lately? Was it because she was too easily moved? Qin Shu knew about her grievances and her persistence. She didn't need to say anything. Qin Shu understood. This was the tacit understanding they had developed over the years. Even though they didn't know each other for 7 years, no one knew each other better than they did. The appearance of 2 foreign superstars at the end of GK Film and Television's opening ceremony was the icing on the cake. No one knew that Qin Shu and Andrew had known each other since they were in the States, and they were friends. They had known each other before Andrew was famous. Now, with one word from Qin Shu, Andrew appeared in C-City with his rumored girlfriend, Christina. In fact, they had arrived here 2 days ago, but their whereabouts had been very secretive. Because Qin Shu wasn't in the city, Rick had arranged for them to stay in a hotel. It was very confidential. Therefore, none of the media knew that when the 2 of them appeared today, The crowd immediately exploded, surprise after surprise. Mo, Schwer, and I Yang, Christina, Andrew, and the appearance of Qin Chu himself. What was originally a mess due to a star breaking the contract had suddenly turned into a grand banquet. Aside from Huamin and Qin Chu, no one else would do something like this. CEO Qin seemed to have predicted that Suyu would make a move, so he had asked his foreign friends to help him. However, he didn't think that Huamin would invite two big shots as well. The saying, husband and wife are connected by heart, was true. Why are you crying? Qin Chu looked at Huamin and didn't say anything, but tears welled up in her eyes. He gently raised his hand and wiped away her tears. Huamin shook her head, but she still couldn't speak. She was afraid that as soon as she opened her mouth, she would burst into tears. Don't cry. Your makeup will be ruined, and you'll look like a panda. Qin Chu teased her on purpose. As expected, Huamin couldn't help but laugh when she heard what Qin Chu said. I thought you wouldn't make it back in time, Huamin finally said with difficulty. Of course not. I won't leave you here alone. Qin Chu rushed back and finally made it back to T-City. He used the mayor's help and borrowed a private jet to return to C-City, just in time for the end of the opening ceremony. It was truly thrilling. Just then, Suyu opened the car door and walked out. Is he going to fight? Tang Chuan asked as he looked at Suyu's back. Suyu was dressed quite formally today. He was wearing white pants, a black shirt, and a white vest. It was different from his usual casual attire, but it was still dazzling. Look, isn't that President Su from Imperial Star? Is he here to cause trouble? Below the stage, the reporters discussed. Chapter 620. Suyu walked towards Qin Chu and Huamin, one step at a time. Everyone held their breaths. They were waiting to see what kind of show the Crown Prince was going to put on. Based on past experience, with Suyu's fiery temper, nothing good would come out of it. He might even come to cause trouble. When Qin Chu and Huamin saw Suyu, they weren't surprised. Even if he was a competitor, it was reasonable for him to come to an event like this. President Qin, congratulations. Suyu reached out his hand. Thank you, President Su. Qin Chu reached out his hand as well, and the two shook hands gently. Those who didn't know what was going on wouldn't be able to tell, but those who knew what was going on would know. You won this time, Suyu said quietly. I was lucky. Qin Chu didn't look proud at all. He was still as cold as ever. But this is just the beginning. It'll get better. Suyu's words were undoubtedly a declaration of war. It meant that this was just the beginning of a war, not the end. I'm looking forward to it. Qin Chu had always been a proud person, so he only replied with 2 words. The surrounding reporters only saw the two shake hands and congratulate each other. They didn't know what was going on, so they took photos like crazy. Finally, Suyu glanced at Huamin and faintly said, Your style is very unique. Then, Suyu couldn't help but laugh and turn around to leave. Huamin rolled his eyes at him. Did he have to be so reserved when mocking others? After the opening ceremony, the VIPs gathered in the ballroom for lunch. The ballroom was filled with hundreds of people. Huamin went downstairs to change his clothes and remove his makeup. Qin Chu went into the VIP lounge, and Assistant Yang immediately poured him a glass of water. Sir, thank goodness you're back. Do you know how worried I was? I can't contact you no matter how hard I try. I can't get through to your phone at all. I can't even get through to your hotel's landline either. It's too strange. Qin Chu took a sip of water and said indifferently, Someone is messing with us. The communication has been cut off. Uffed. That was so close, I almost peed my pants. Luckily, a young lady is here. All right, speaking of a young lady, she's really amazing. She managed to pull in 2 big shots in half an hour. Did you see that? Mo Shui and Ni Yang have both signed contracts with us. I still can't believe it. Assistant Yang praised Huamin to Qin Chu. This was indeed to Qin Chu's liking. He even had a slight smile on his face. My wife is naturally very powerful, he said proudly. But boss, you're even scarier. How did you get those 2 foreigners? Although I've never seen a vampire count before, I feel like they should be very popular. The reporters are going crazy. They're about to step on my shoes. Assistant Yang lowered his head. He had lost control of himself at the event just now. The reporters wanted to rush up to them, but Assistant Yang and the others from the company stopped them. In the end, they were almost trampled to death. Luckily, the opening ceremony was a success. Qin Shu didn't say anything. He just leaned back on the sofa tiredly and closed his eyes. He hadn't slept much for the past few days. He had to worry about both sides. This time, he even flew back directly. Even if he was made of iron, he wouldn't be able to take it. Seeing that his boss was tired, Assistant Yang tactfully turned around and left, closing the door behind him. At this time, Huamin had just finished changing and came over after removing his makeup. "Where's he?" "My boss is resting inside." Huamin nodded and gently pushed the door open. What she saw was Qin Shu leaning against the sofa and falling asleep. His eyelashes were slightly curled. His hands were on his knees, looking very reserved. Thinking about it, he was only 27 years old, but he had a shoulder of financial group. It must be hard for him. Huamin's heart ached as she walked over. She picked up a blanket and gently covered Qin Shu with it. Then, she turned around to leave, but Qin Shu grabbed her arm. "Honey, don't go," he said gently. Chapter 6:21. Huamin turned around and saw that Qin Shu had already opened his eyes. "You must be tired. Get some sleep. I'll go out and take care of some other things for you. Don't. Come here and sit down." Qin Shu gently pulled him over. Huamin was immediately pulled over to Qin Shu's side, and he fell onto the sofa. Qin Shu raised his hand and wrapped around Huamin's shoulder. "To be honest, I should have expected those artists to stand you up, but I didn't think that they'd cut off all communications. I also didn't think that idiot Yang would come looking for you at such a critical moment. You've never dealt with company matters before, so I'm sorry for troubling you." "It's not troubling, it's family matters. What's there to be troubled about?" Huamin smiled slightly. "And Yang, I heard that he's a patient that you've been treating recently. He was only able to sign the contract because of you. How should I thank you, honey?" Qin Shu looked at his wife lovingly. "How did you know?" "I thought our hospital did a good job of keeping it a secret." Huamin chuckled. "No matter how good it is, it can't escape my eyes. But I'm curious, you must have asked Huasiqian for Mo Shuer to come, right?" As expected, nothing could escape Qin Shu's eyes. Huasiqian and Mo Shuer. Er's relationship was well known to everyone. Huamin lowered his head guiltily. "Yeah, and Yang wasn't confirmed before, so I had no choice. We can't have a single superstar, so I asked him for help. It was an emergency, don't be mad." Huamin knew that Qin Shu disliked Huasiqian, even more so than Suyu. "I'm not blaming you. I just wanted to ask, what did you agree to in exchange for his help?" Qin Shu gently stroked Huamin's hair. He couldn't help but worry that this fool had made an unfair exchange with Huasiqian. "Oh, it's nothing. I just agreed to help him deal with Hua Zhenghai. That's what I came back to the whole corporation to do anyway. Since we both have the same enemy, it's not like we can't work together." As for Huasiqian's real request, Huamin kept it a secret. She didn't dare to say that she was going to the Hua family this weekend, let alone spend the night there. Although he didn't know what Huasiqian was up to, based on Qin Shu's personality, he definitely wouldn't be able to remain calm if he found out. Qin Shu nodded, clearly believing Huamin's words. Don't look for him in the future. Negotiating with him is equivalent to signing a contract with a demon. It's very dangerous. Is that necessary? Huamin felt that he could still experience how terrifying Huasiqian was. However, Mr. Qin always made him sound terrifying. However, since Mr. Qin was never wrong, it was always better to be careful, of course. Then I'll be careful from now on. Okay. Huamin nodded. Then, Qin Shu received a call to deal with the incident in T-City. Huamin, on the other hand, went out to look for Yang. However, she happened to see Yang being scolded by his manager in the dressing room. When Yang saw Huamin, he felt as if he saw his savior. Sister Ingzi was his savior. She saved him from the swamp, so he didn't have the heart to argue with her. Instead, he listened to her. "Sister Huamin." "Sister Ingzi, what's going on?" Oh, you just in time. I was just about to look for you. What did you do to N.I. Yang? Huh? Why did you suddenly sign with GK? You're crazy. Also, did you earn a lot of commission from this deal? What did GK give you in return? Ingzi was so angry that her face turned red. N.I. Yang signed a 1-year contract with GK behind her back. How was she supposed to explain this to President Su? She was the one who promised to go to Imperial Star. Therefore, when Ingzi saw Huamin, she was immediately enraged. I didn't take a single cent, Huamin calmly explained. Who would believe that? Why would you encourage N.I. Yang if you didn't get anything in return? I didn't encourage him. GK offered him the same benefits as Imperial Star. You don't have to tell me the pros and cons. I've been in this industry for so many years. Do you think I don't know? Sister Ingzi continued to go crazy. Finally, N.I. Yang couldn't stand it anymore. He calmly interjected, Sister Ingzi, Huamin is President Qin's wife. President Qin's wife? Do you think she's that great? President Qin? Which President Qin? GK's President Qin Chu's wife. N.I. Yang continued to explain. Sister Ingzi immediately fell silent. She then looked at Huamin in disbelief, as if she was looking at a monster. Chapter 622. How is that possible? Ingzi couldn't believe it. Huamin didn't look like anything special. She wasn't beautiful, and she didn't come from a rich family. But why was she Qin Chu's woman? Oh no, she wasn't just a woman. Most importantly, she was President Qin's wife. So don't worry, with my relationship with him, I won't mistreat N.I. Yang. Since N.I. Yang calls me sister, I'll definitely ask my husband to create a bright future for him. Huamin promised with a smile. Ingzi still couldn't digest this shocking news. Before, when she saw Huamin driving an Audi R8, she didn't even bat an eye at it. She thought that she was a mistress of some rich old man. That was why she was biased against Huamin. Little did she know that she was the legitimate daughter-in-law of a rich family. If that was the case, then N.I. Yang wouldn't have a problem signing with GK. Most importantly, Huamin still had a chance to cure N.I. Yang's illness. Just then, Huamin glanced at N.I. Yang. You must be tired today. Go home and get some rest. I've talked to the company, and they're giving you a week off. During this time, you won't be accepting any events. Rest well at home, or you can go out and have fun. If you're bored, you can come find me at Southside and talk to me. Thank you, Sister Huamin. Without realizing it, N.I. Yang's face was filled with smiles. Then, Huamin looked at Sister Ingzi. Don't worry, as N.I. Yang's manager, you still have all of your rights. The company will communicate with you in advance if there's anything. However, I suggest that we don't give him too much work this year because he's still recovering from his illness. In the second half of the year, we'll only give him one big movie with Mo, Shui, as the male and female leads. It'll definitely be very popular, and it'll be released at the end of the year. Not only will it be good for his reputation, but it'll also be a box office hit. What do you think? Sister Ingzi looked at Huamin for a while and sighed. It's a shame that someone like you isn't a manager. That's not where I want to be. I like hospitals and the smell of formalin. After patting Ingzi's shoulder, Huamin turned around and left. Sister Ingzi, understand me now, right? Huamin is a very reliable person. She won't cheat me. Since everyone offered the same price, why didn't I choose GK? Imperial Star is good, but people keep saying that I'm having an affair with President Su. It's annoying, but this way we can stop the rumors. You little brat, why didn't you tell me earlier that Huamin is President Qin's wife? I just found out when I was drunk that day. N.I. Yang felt wronged. Okay, let's not talk about you. Didn't you hear what Huamin said just now? Get some rest. Okay. N.I. Yang nodded, and then the two of them left the company. After comforting N.I. Yang, Huamin went to find Mo Shui. Because they were in a rush this morning, they didn't talk much. She helped him a lot, so he had to thank her. Mo Shui had just finished removing her makeup and was sitting in the dressing room playing with her phone. Of the two assistants, one was massaging her shoulders, and the other was massaging her legs. They looked like big shots. Of course, they looked like big shots, apparently, when they walked the red carpet together at Cannes, Annie Leon only gave Mo 3 seconds of screen time, but Mo gave her a full 2 minutes. It was obvious who she was. Miss Mo, can we talk? Huomin knocked on the door. Mo looked up and smiled when she saw Huomin. Sure. Chapter 6:23. Seeing this, the two assistants immediately backed out of the room. Huomin walked over and leaned against the dressing table. Thank you for your hard work today. Since I signed a contract with GK, it's my job to walk the red carpet. A young lady, you don't have to worry about it. After chatting for a while, Huomin realized that not only was Mo pretty and elegant, but most importantly, she was well-mannered. She was just as well-mannered as those young ladies from prestigious families, and she spoke with elegance. Her expressions were just right. She wasn't arrogant, pretentious, humble, or pretentious. However, no matter how outstanding she was, she couldn't marry into the Hua family. Huomin didn't think that Hua Zhenghai had the power to stop Hua Xiqian from marrying the woman he loved. In the end, Hua Xiqian himself was the reason. If you have any requests in the future, the company won't mistreat you. Although I'm not an employee of GK, I have absolute authority. I signed you and Ni Yang at a critical time, so I won't let you down. Trust me. Huomin was sincere, so his words were a promise. And Mo only smiled when she heard this. Actually, you should know why I came. I don't care about money. I have both fame and money. You know that I originally wanted to go to the States to pursue my career. I know. Huomin nodded. But one phone call from him changed all my plans. Mo continued to smile. You? And him, you too? Huomin wasn't good at prying into other people's privacy, but Mo ambiguous words made him unsure if Hua Xiqian and Mo were still in a relationship. We've never been together, huh? Huomin was completely shocked by her words. Could it be that the rumors outside were all false? However, there were pictures of Mo staying in Hua Xiqian's mansion for 3 consecutive days. Don't be surprised. What I mean is we've never been in a relationship. We're just partners in bed. Huomin didn't say anything. He just looked at her quietly. But I'm not a good bedmate because I'm in love with him. Mo smiled bitterly and took out a pack of cigarettes. Do you mind? Mo asked Huomin. Huomin shook his head. Do you want one? Huomin still shook his head. Mo put the cigarette in her mouth and took out a lighter to light it. Then, she took a deep breath and laughed. I know he doesn't love me, but I'm still willing to do anything for him. This is probably the most foolish thing about us women. It sounds like your story is quite sad. Huomin said softly. Sad? No, not at all. To this day, I still have to thank him. Without him, I wouldn't be where I am today. I came from an ordinary family and only participated in the New Star editions because I was lucky. He happened to be there and asked me if I wanted to be famous. I said yes, and he supported me for 7 years without hesitation. In these 7 years, I went from a small-time actress to an international star and experienced a lot. Without him, I would never be where I am today. No matter how he treats me, I'm still grateful to him. It was obvious that Mo had deep feelings for Hua Xiqian. It's not easy to know how to be grateful. You're a sentimental woman. Huomin looked at her. Maybe. A while ago, he told me to go to the States, leave this place, and never come back. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to reject him. Now that he's telling me to go to GK, I'm here. Thank you for coming to GK. We won't let you down. Huomin was obviously referring to her and Qin Chu. No, I don't care about other people's attitudes. I just don't want to disappoint him. Mo finished her cigarette and threw it on the ground to extinguish it. There's something I'm curious about, Mo said. What is it? Huomin looked at her. Why is he so nice to you? Mo looked at Huomin and asked. Chapter 6:24. Huomin's heart skipped a beat, and then she gulped. To be honest, Mo words made her feel a little guilty. As for why she felt guilty, she didn't know either. Maybe because I'm her little sister. Huomin forced herself to answer. I how is that possible? You're both her little sisters, but she treats you so differently from Hua Yin. Mo Shue's expression became complicated. Maybe it's because we're on the same side. You should know that the Hua Corporation's internal strife has already begun, and I am already on his side. Really? Maybe that's why. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, there are benefits to staying here. GK is a huge financial group, and I'm sure the future will be exciting. Definitely. After talking to Mo Shuer, Huamin walked out with a heavy heart. Mo Shuer was willing to sacrifice her future just for Hua Xiqian's words. So why did Hua Xiqian use so many resources just to invite her back to the Hua family for one night? The answers seemed to be on the verge of popping out. However, Huamin didn't dare to think about it, because it didn't make sense. Even though they weren't related by blood, they were still siblings in name. Could Hua Xiqian be? A young lady. Yang interrupted him. Yeah, the president told me to tell you to go downstairs. He's waiting for you. Okay. Huamin nodded, then turned around and walked downstairs. News of a young lady's efforts to turn the tides had already spread. Everyone at GK was talking about this. Even though Qin Shu hadn't publicly introduced Huamin's identity, everyone already knew what was going on. On the way, many employees happily greeted Huamin. Hello, a young lady. Good afternoon, a young lady. A young lady. Huamin nodded at them one by one. She met someone she knew. The man who flirted with her at the bar gave her his business card and showed off that he was from GK. If Huamin remembered correctly, that person should be called Wang Tao. When Wang Tao saw Huamin, he was scared to death. With him was a male colleague from the department, 2 people. Hello, a young lady. The colleague immediately greeted her. Wang Tao felt quite awkward and lowered his head as he said, Hello, a young lady. Huamin smiled. Are you used to working here? Wang Tao was stunned. Then he nodded. Very good. I'm used to it. That's good. Work hard. Just then, the elevator arrived. Huamin walked into the elevator. Wang Tao was still scared out of his wits. When Huamin came downstairs, he was still in shock. Wang Tao, do you know a young lady? The man asked. No. Wang Tao immediately denied it. Then why did she ask you? Maybe it was random, Wang Tao said guiltily. Perhaps the thing he regretted the most in his life was hitting on her at the bar. If Huamin said anything, he would be fired at any time. If that happened, the job that he worked so hard for so many years would be gone. However, a young lady didn't. This made him feel a little relieved. He swore that he would never hit on her at a bar again, because he never knew who he would piss off. When Huamin came downstairs, he saw Qin Shu's Maybach parked at the door. Honey, where are we going? Get in first. I'll let Xiao Yang drive your car home later. Okay. Huamin smiled. He opened the door to the passenger seat and got in. Honey, I'll take you to Yunding Mountain for a couple of days this weekend. Okay? Qin Shu said as he drove. Not this weekend. Huamin immediately rejected. What's wrong? Qin Shu tilted his head and looked at her in confusion. Chapter 625. I might have to work overtime this weekend. In the end, Huamin chose to lie. She didn't want Qin Shu to know that she agreed to Hua Xiqian's personal request for the benefit of the company. Although the request wasn't too much, she didn't dare to tell Qin Shu. Oh, next week then, it's fine. Qin Shu didn't think too much about it. The two drove for around 20 minutes before arriving at a spicy crayfish restaurant. It wasn't big, but the decor was very stylish. It looked a bit like an ancient inn and was completely built with wooden planks. Crayfish? You like crayfish? Huamin and Qin Shu had been together for a long time, but Qin Shu didn't like crayfish, so she was a bit surprised. Someone's treating. Qin Shu smiled mysteriously. Then he held Huamin's hand and walked into a private room. There were 3 people sitting inside. One of them was the owner of Seductive Fox, Rick. The other 2 were the international superstars Christina and Andrew, who were the finale of the show. Hi, Qin Shu, come sit over here. Andrew enthusiastically greeted Qin Shu. Let me introduce you. This is my wife, Huamin. Qin Shu introduced her in fluent American English. Huamin smiled slightly and replied in fluent English. Hi. My name is Huamin. Nice to meet you. Then, the two sat down. Then, Huamin was surprised to find that these people were all conversing in American English. The good thing was that she learned all the spoken languages in high school, so it wasn't difficult at all. But the only awkward thing was that these people were all speaking American English, while Huamin didn't go abroad, so she was speaking Chinglish. It was a bit funny. Christina held Huamin's hand intimately and kept praising it in English. You have so many delicious dishes here. I like crayfish very much and dumplings. They taste very good and leave a lasting aftertaste. Huamin smiled and replied, If you like it, eat more and stay for a few more days. No, we still have a lot of things to do. If Qin didn't give us a chance this time, who knows when we'd be able to come here. It's nice to meet you. Although Christina was a superstar, she was still younger than Huamin. Because Americans matured early, she debuted at the age of 16 and shot some magazine advertisements. Now, she was only 21, young and beautiful. She took out her phone and enthusiastically took selfies with Huamin. She even said to Qin Shu, Your wife is amazing. You're so lucky. Qin Shu smiled happily. Indeed, marrying her is the best thing that happened to me in my life. Rick sat beside Qin Shu and whispered, Wang Dehai has been caught and is on the way back to China. What do you plan to do with him? Let's catch him first. I have something to ask him. Okay. Rick was a man of few words, but he was very efficient. Andrew was Qin Shu's good friend for many years, so he was not unfamiliar with him at all. The three men chatted in American English. Huamin also took out her phone and took selfies with Christina. She never liked to show off, but this time, she really wanted to show off on her WeChat moments, so she used a beauty camera to beautify her skin and post it on her WeChat moments. In the photo, one of them was Asian and the other was Caucasian. Both of them had bright smiles on their faces. Huamin rarely took selfies, so this was a rare occasion, so she turned on her pretentious mode for the first time. Anna is a very nice person. She loves to eat crayfish. This was the caption that she attached to the photo. Then, the moment the photo was posted on her WeChat moments, the comment section exploded within 3 minutes. Chapter 6:26. Where are you? I want to go too. I love Christina the most. Also, why are you with her? You're so shameless. Why didn't you call me when something good happened? Our friendship is going to capsize. Zhu Lingling was the first to comment. Haha, didn't you watch GK's opening ceremony today? I even walked the red carpet, Huamin asked back. I watched the live broadcast. But which one was you? Zhu Lingling was confused. Screw you. Zhu Lingling had been friends with him for years, but she didn't recognize him. He was speechless. Cut the crap and get me an autograph. Quick, quick, quick. No, I'll embarrass myself if I get an autograph right now, because we're eating crayfish together. I'm so jealous. I'm in Y City right now, or else I'd be looking for you. You're freeloading off a celebrity. Haha, Andrew is so handsome. I really want to sleep with him. As soon as she finished commenting, Gao Ran immediately replied, If you don't have a diamond, don't try to make porcelain. Can you even handle his size? Buffed, how can I not handle it? It's still better than your 3-inch sausage. Huamin was speechless as he quietly replied, You two are so dirty, and you even know his size? When did you two start flirting? Don't listen to her nonsense. I didn't touch her. Gao Ren immediately tried to clear his name. Bullshit. You didn't touch her. Last time at the hotel, did you fucking hug a husky? Zhu Lingling was furious. Huamin held on his phone and laughed out loud. Qin Shu turned his head and looked at Huamin. What are you so happy about? Huamin didn't say anything. He picked up his phone and showed it to Qin Shu. Qin Shu also smiled. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were a pair of clowns sent by monkeys. It would be a waste of his talent if he didn't go into crosstalk. This meal of crayfish was very enjoyable. Huamin only cared about taking photos and chatting with Christina. When he turned around, Qin Shu had already peeled off a lot of crayfish meat for Huamin. When Huamin saw the white crayfish, he immediately had an appetite and ate a few. Qin Shu gently picked up a tissue and wiped her mouth as if he was taking care of a child. Andrew chuckled and said in English, If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, It would have been hard to imagine that Sheen could have such a gentle side. I remember the first time I saw him at Harvard. He was as cold as the South Pole. Rick smiled and replied, "That depends on who he is with." To his wife, he will always be the best husband. Christina said enviously, "Andrew, if you treat his wife like how Sheen treats his wife, I'll marry you. But I'm not going to propose to you." Andrew smiled. Anna turned around and hit Andrew with a smile. The atmosphere was very lively. Hwamin suddenly felt emotional. No matter how big of a celebrity she was still just a normal person. She could cry, laugh, and make a fuss. When they were really together, she was still very approachable. After dinner, the group went to Rick's place for karaoke. On the top floor, Seductive Fox. As Hwamin was walking down the hallway with Anna, he was suddenly startled by Tang Chuan rushing out. "Goddess, can you give me an autograph?" Anna was so scared that she immediately hid behind Hwamin. "Don't be scared, he's my friend," Hwamin introduced him. "Head nurse, hurry up and tell her that I'm a big fan of hers." Tang Chuan was impatient. If Wei Liao hadn't stopped him today, he would have already done it. During the opening ceremony, he already wanted to rush over. "Tang Chuan, does your mom know that you're kissing up to that foreign girl?" Not far behind him was a teasing Wei Liao. Next to him was Su Yu, who was wearing a white Versace. Looking at Su Yu, Hwamin stopped smiling. Chapter 627. Ever since she posted that post on her WeChat friend circle, many people had privately messaged her to ask for autographs from the two international superstars. Even Huang Yu and Ji Xin, those two little fresh meats, couldn't escape the attention. Hwamin regretted posting those photos to show off. It was better to keep a low profile and avoid trouble. However, she didn't think that even a rich playboy like Tang Chuan would be obsessed with Christina. It seemed like she had to go back and see which vampire count he was. He must be very good-looking, or else everyone wouldn't be so crazy about him. "Christina, they're all my friends. Can I get your autographs?" Hwamin turned around and asked in English. "Head nurse, your English is pretty good," Tang Chuan flattered with a smile on his face. Hwamin ignored him and directly talked to Christina. As soon as Christina heard that they were Hwamin's friends, she no longer had any concerns in the luxurious hallway of Seductive Fox. Tang Chuan took out his phone and took photos like crazy, then posted them on his WeChat friend circle to show off. Wei Liao couldn't help but come over to take a photo with Christina. "Lord Su, are you coming or not?" Wei Liao smiled at Su Yu. "No, of course." Su Yu wasn't interested in Christina at all. All of his attention was on Hwamin. He walked over and looked at Hwamin. "This girl sure is capable, signing two superstars at once. She's slapping me in the face. It's just fair competition. Plus, you cut off Chin Chu's communication with HQ. Isn't that cruel?" "Me? Cut off communication?" So you froze slightly. "Wasn't it you?" Hwamin froze again. "No, I'm not that bored. If I hired a hacker, I would have hacked today's live stream so that no one could see what happened." You're right." Hwamin had to think carefully. Other than Su Yu, who else would do something to GK and Chin Chu? "I didn't do it. I won't take the blame," Su Yu explained. Hwamin laughed. "What are you laughing at?" Su Yu was speechless. "You make it sound like you're the scapegoat all the time." Hwamin laughed. "I didn't before, but ever since you appeared, I've been wronged," Su Yu said honestly. "It seems that my presence in your life make you look unlucky." Huazes as tease Christina. Christina, 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 and Christina, 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 Christina's Christina, Christina, and Christina, for Christina, 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 Christina. Su Yu is rarely this emotional, so Christina didn't want to continue the conversation. She didn't want things to get awkward again. Before she could say more, Rick walked out. "It's time to go in. Everyone's waiting for you." Rick glanced at Hwamin and then looked at Su Yu. "Okay." Hwamin held onto Anna's hand and walked into the private room. "Hwamin, remember to give me Anna's contact information." "I'll go to the States to see her soon, huh?" Tang Chuan shouted proudly. Hwamin ignored him, Suyu didn't look away until Christina entered the private room. Rick walked over from the door and greeted him, young Master Su. Mr. Rick, you seem to be very close to President Qin. Suyu had noticed their relationship a long time ago. If Qin Shu went out to play, he would go straight to Seductive Fox. However, Suyu and the others were different. They went to all the nightclubs in Sea City, and they even went to many private clubs. The most suspicious thing was that when Zhou Guangming got into trouble here, the Zhou family erased the video, but Qin Shu was still able to get his hands on the full version. This could only mean that Seductive Fox gave it to him. Suyu knew this very well. Therefore, he was certain that the boss of Seductive Fox had a special relationship with Qin Shu. Chapter 628. He's an old friend I met in the States. Rick didn't try to hide anything. Oh, no wonder. Wei Liao suddenly realized what was going on. Rick and Qin Shu were both low-key tycoons. They had plenty of money, but they never flaunted it. After all, Rick's family was involved in shady businesses. After chatting for a bit, Rick turned around and returned to Qin Shu's private room. After singing for a while, they left Seductive Fox. Qin Shu took Huamin home. Honey, even though they're friends, we can't let Andrew and Anna come here for nothing. We have to pay them, Huamin reminded him. Don't worry, I've already arranged everything. They won't take the money. I prepared a bunch of Chinese porcelain for them to take away. Anna always said that she likes you. Qin Shu smiled proudly. Anna's a great person too. She's passionate and unrestrained. It's true that Americans are cheerful and have good personalities. Huamian smiled. Qin Shu drove all the way back to South Hill Manor. Even though it was midnight, South Hill Manor was still brightly lit. The security guards at the door took turns 24 hours a day. When Uncle Lee saw them, he immediately walked up to them. Sir, would you like supper? Qin Shu turned around and looked at Huamin. Are you hungry, honey? Huamin shook her head. Then I'll tell the kitchen to bring out the sweet soup for madam. Uncle Lee turned around as he spoke. Huamin happily held onto Qin Shu's hand. It's so nice to have you at home. Then I'll take you with me next time. Qin Shu lovingly raised his finger and tapped the tip of her nose. I want to, but Southside has been too busy lately. Ever since Deputy Director Guo's accident, there hasn't been an acting director. President Wu sometimes comes over for meetings, but he has a lot of stuff to deal with. Anyways, it's a headache. Don't work so hard. Work is unlimited. So is health. I know. The two of them sat in the living room and drank some sweet soup before going upstairs. As soon as Huamin came out of the shower, he saw Qin Shu pick up his jacket and put it on. Are you going out? MHM, I have something urgent to deal with. Go to sleep first, honey. All right. Huamin was a little disappointed. Qin Shu had finally returned, but he had to leave again. Good girl. Qin Shu kissed her forehead and turned to go downstairs. After Qin Shu left, Huamin lay on the bed, exhausted. Everything that had happened today felt like a dream. She actually resolved GK's public relations crisis, and I Yang, Mo, Schwer. Now that he thought about it, he was really lucky. At that moment, Wu Xiaoxue, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly sent a WeChat message to Huamin. It was a smiley face. Huamin immediately replied with a grinning emoji. I went into labor prematurely. I gave birth to my daughter last night. She's very small, less than 2 kilograms, but she's very healthy. Huh? She's only 7 months old. Huamin was stunned. That bitch, He-Man, came to my house. She's pregnant too. She came to provoke me, so I ended up fighting with her. In the end, I went into labor prematurely, but she wasn't any better. She also had a miscarriage. Huamin's heart skipped a beat. Then he asked anxiously, what about Ning Ziyuan? What did he say? He came by last night, took one look at the baby, and then left. I think he went to find another woman. Aside from He-Man, he also hooked up with a young model. She's born in the 90s. Xiaoxiu, it's been hard on you. Huamin really sympathized with Wu Xiaoxiu at that moment. Wu Xiaoxiu sent a 2-second voice message with a bitter smile. Chapter 629. Huamin, do you believe in karma? I think it's karma that brought me to where I am today. When I was with Ning Ziyuan, you guys hadn't completely broken up yet. At that time, He hooked up with Man and then me. I naively thought that he loved me, that we were true love, and that you were already in the past. Now that I think about it, how ridiculous was I? You've already jumped out of the fire pit, and I foolishly jumped in. Actually, he wasn't like this in the past. Maybe he was provoked later on. Huamin had been trying hard to recall their university days. Ning Ziyuan was really good to her. Otherwise, why would she have the idea of marrying him in the first place? As for why things turn out this way, Ning Ziyuan said that Huamin provoked her. However, Huamin didn't make him visit prostitutes, find mistresses, go to bars, or be a scumbag. In the end, he had to walk his own path. A man who blamed all his mistakes on a woman was destined to have no future. You're wrong. Maybe he was always like this, but he hit it too well when he was with you. Distance tests a horse's strength, and time reveals a person's heart. After we got married, we were together every day. Of course, I know what his true nature is. I just pity my daughter. Then what are you going to do now? Huamin asked worriedly. Divorce. After I'm done with my confinement, I'll sue. Does your family agree? Yes. My uncle has already decided to fire him because he's no longer useful in the ophthalmology department. He can't even perform a basic surgery. He drinks himself to death every day and drives around in my BMW to attract women. Wu Xiaoxue said angrily. You're still in confinement. You have to take care of your body. Don't get angry. It'll be difficult to treat if you get sick. I know. Then Wu Xiaoxue said, Huamin. Yeah, I'm leaving. Where are we going? Huamin was stunned. He didn't expect Wu Xiaoxue to ask such a question. After my confinement, I got divorced and went abroad with my daughter. I want to settle down in Seattle. My father bought me a house there. My parents left with me. I don't want to stay in this sad place. Compared to living abroad, I can start over. That's good too. With your aptitude, you'll have a better life there, and your children will also have a better education. Yes, I think so too. Before I leave, let's meet. I'm very grateful to you for saving our lives. Okay, give me a call when the time comes. All right, then rest early. Goodbye. Goodbye. Huamin said goodbye to Wu Xiaoxue and hung up the phone with a heavy heart. Time flies. Wu Xiaoxue was so arrogant when she first came to the hospital. Because she listened to He-Man's instigation, she made things difficult for Huamin. At that time, Huamin was really annoyed by her. He thought she was crazy and had a temper. Now, it seemed that Wu Xiaoxue finally saw through everything. She was a woman who experienced a man's betrayal. Her heart was broken, and she went through a disaster in her life. In the end, she became a mother. Thinking about it, it wasn't easy. But why did Ning Ziyuan become like this? It seemed like she hadn't seen him in a long time. What kind of man would not even care about his own daughter? Qinshu drove his Maybach all the way to an illegal clinic in the suburbs. Rick was dressed in a black leather jacket. We were going to escort him to T-City, but we were ambushed on the way. He was shot. The other party came prepared. Qinshu nodded and walked in. He saw a dying middle-aged man lying on the bed with blood on his chest. Since you're going to die, then tell me, who ordered you to do that harmful project? Qinshu asked coldly, word by word. Chapter 630. No, I can't tell you, the man said with difficulty. Are you going to take the secret to hell with you? Qinshu looked at him coldly. No, I can't. After the man said these two words, his neck tilted and he stopped breathing. Qinshu seemed to have expected this outcome. The assassin he sent was very professional and killed him with one shot. The only reason he was able to hold on until Qinshu arrived was because Rick injected a large amount of cardiac tonic into his heart. What? He didn't say it was him? Rick asked. He didn't say anything. The other party probably has something on him, or he's using his family to threaten him. Qinshu analyzed. Rick nodded. Did you offend someone recently? Could it be Suyu? No, Suyu wouldn't be so despicable. This person is extremely ruthless and doesn't leave anyone alive. He takes lives at every turn. It's not Suyu style. Then that's troublesome. You're out in the open and the enemy is in the dark, Rick said in a serious tone. It's not troublesome. It seems like he just wants to cause trouble for me. He didn't threaten me physically. I'm more worried about my wife. Rick, when I'm not in the city, keep an eye on her for me. Don't let anyone get close to her. Got it. Rick nodded. If someone wanted to deal with Qin Shu, the best way was to capture Huamin. So, Huamin probably didn't know that someone was secretly watching her every day at work to protect her. Qin Shu really didn't want anything to happen to her. When Qin Shu returned home, Huamin was already fast asleep. He took a shower in another bathroom because he didn't want to wake Huamin up. Then he quietly got into bed and gently hugged her. At that moment, Huamin was deep in her dream. She dreamt that she was standing in a forest. Then, a man stood in front of her, but she couldn't see his face clearly. "Who are you?" Huamin asked. "Mian. I'm Dad." "Dad?" Huamin repeated, but it definitely wasn't Hua Zhenghai's voice. "Who are you?" Huamin wanted to walk over and take a closer look at her. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move at all. "On. I'm Dad." Then, she watched as the man gradually walked away. "Dad, don't go." Huamin suddenly woke up. Qin Shu immediately hugged her. "Did you have a nightmare?" Huamin was panting heavily. "I dreamt of a man. He said he was my father." "Don't worry. I've been looking for people to investigate your background. I'll definitely help you find them." Qin Shu knew that ever since Huamin found out that she wasn't the daughter of the Hua family, she had been trying to find her family. Unfortunately, the road to finding clues was full of difficulties, and there were always people obstructing them. Moreover, the enemy was in the dark, and they were in the light. It was very difficult. "Honey, do you think they're already dead?" Huamin suddenly thought sadly. "Don't worry, I think your mom and dad are both here. Maybe there are other siblings as well." Qin Shu gently stroked her hair and comforted her. The next morning, Qin Shu drove Huamin to work at Southside, and then he got on a plane and flew directly to T-City. The accident hadn't been properly handled, and the person in charge of the Tofu Dregs project, Wang Dehai, had died tragically. Qin Shu couldn't push the blame onto someone who died, right? Therefore, he had to do it himself. If there was no other choice, he would take the blame. After all, 4 people died, including Wang Dehai. 5 lives were lost in this incident. Qin Shu suddenly felt that this hidden enemy was very scary. He was 100 times scarier than Suyu, because he could control people's lives at any time. In the blink of an eye, it was the weekend. After work, before Huamin walked out the door, she saw Hua Xiqian standing in front of the black Porsche. "Little sister Mian, isn't it time to leave with me today?" Hua Xiqian smiled with a lollipop in his mouth. Chapter 631. Got it. Huamin glanced at Hua Xiqian, then quietly left the house and got into his Audi R8. The two of them each drove towards Huamin's house. The good thing was that Qin Shu was still in T-City. Otherwise, if he was at home, he would never allow her to stay over at the Hua mansion. What kind of people were the Hua family? They were a pack of wolves, tigers, and leopards. Half an hour later, at the Hua mansion, Huamin took off his white lab coat and put on a simple outfit. However, ever since she married Qin Shu, she had been wearing designer clothes. Today, she wore DG's new Venetian floral dress with a white jacket and a pair of nude pink heels. The heels weren't high, but they were delicate and cute. When Huamin walked in, everyone was slightly surprised. "Mian, you're back?" Hua Zhenghai sat on the European-style sofa in the living room and asked. "Yeah." Huamin's reaction was still cold. "You know that today is Xiqian's birthday? It's rare for so many people to gather together," Hua Zhenghai said meaningfully. Huamin froze slightly, then looked at Hua Xiqian. So today was his birthday, but he didn't say anything. Hua Xiqian didn't even buy a present or a cake when she came. This was really awkward. "It's almost time to eat, eh? Where's Yin Yin? Is she not back yet?" Madame Hua Zhenghai, Jiang Hong, asked hypocritically as she sat down beside Hua Zhenghai. Hua Si was playing with his phone as he replied, "My sister said her car broke down, and she went to the 4S shop to get it fixed. She told us to eat first. Can't she just leave the car there and come back first?" "This girl is getting more and more ridiculous," Hua Zhenghai said angrily. "Did your car really break down? Or did you not want to come out of the bar?" Jiang Hong asked jokingly. Shun Jiani immediately replied, "Sister, What are you talking about? Although Yin Yin is willful, she knows that it's Big Brother's birthday today. She definitely won't mess around. It must be something wrong with the car. Zhenghai, Yin Yin's Porsche has been in a lot of accidents recently. Maybe it's because it crashed a few times before. Undo as you see fit. All right. Shinjiani smiled slightly. She not only helped Hoi Yin Yin out of trouble, but also got a sports car. Her IQ was really unparalleled. One of the biggest reasons why Hua Min hated the Hua family was because it was always filled with gunpowder. It was like being on a battlefield all the time. How was it like being at home? Even if it was a $10 million villa, no matter how luxuriously decorated it was, it could not compare to the warmth of their small courtyard in the slums. That was why money couldn't buy everything, since Yin Yin isn't back yet. Let's not wait anymore. Let's eat. Little Sister Mian must be hungry, Hua Xiqian said with a smile. Then, the group walked to the spacious dining room on the first floor. Hua Xiqian sat next to Hua Zhenghai, while Hua Min sat next to Hua Xiqian. The rest were Jiang Hong, Shun Jiani, and Hua Si. There were 18 dishes on the table. It seemed like the Hua family really valued Hua Xiqian's birthday. After all, they hadn't completely fallen out with each other yet. The maid brought over a few bottles of expensive red wine and poured them one by one. When it was Hua Min's turn, she immediately covered her wine glass. I'll just have a drink. I can't drink. Today is a happy day. It's rare for you to come back for dinner, so drink less. Hua Zhenghai's words were like an order, not to be rejected. However, Hua Min didn't give him any face. I've been allergic to alcohol recently, so I can't drink anymore. Change it to watermelon juice for me. Hua Min looked at the maid and said. The maid seemed to be in a difficult position and looked at Hua Zhenghai. Before anyone else could speak, Hua Xiqian spoke first. Bring me the watermelon juice. Yes, young master. Upon Hua Xiqian's command, the maid immediately ran over to bring over the watermelon juice and placed it next to Hua Min. Then, everyone raised their glasses and wished Hua Xiqian a happy birthday. Little Sister Mian, don't you want to say something? Hua Xiqian tilted his head and looked at Hua Min with a half smile. I wish you a child soon. Hua Min's words made everyone laugh. Chapter 632. Especially the old-fashioned Madame Jiang Hong. You're such an interesting kid. Your brother isn't even married yet. For someone of my brother's status, women are always throwing themselves at him. It's normal for him to have children before he's married. After all, the Hua family is a big business. It's only natural for us to have children. Haha, good. You finally said something nice. The Hua family will definitely prosper in the future. Hua Zhenghai was very happy as he picked up his wine glass and took a small sip. Hua Xiqian held his wine glass with interest and looked into Hua Min's eyes. Your brother has been very tired lately. It's probably going to be difficult for him to have a child. Wait for me to recover. I'll count on your blessings, sis. During this time, everyone gave him their gifts. Xiqian, with your current status, you can't drive a Ferrari or a Maserati anymore. I got you a Bentley. The old man handed over the keys to the Bentley. Thanks, Dad. Hua Xiqian smiled as he played with the keys. The old man was quite generous. He was willing to give him a Bentley. He must have put in a lot of effort. Hua Xiqian wondered what kind of trap was behind this sweet gift. Jiang Hong took out a bunch of keys and placed them on the table. Then, she turned around and said quietly, I bought you a mansion in the new city up north, Fugaway Garden. Mom, you love me so much. You know that I like the land at Fugaway Garden. Why get married? It'll be my new home. Hua Xiqian smiled. Jiang Hong's eyes were filled with love. Although Hua Xiqian wasn't her biological son, she treated him like her own. Over the years, the mother and son got along very well. Shun Jiani nudged Hua Si's arm as if to remind him. Hua Si reluctantly took out a paper bag and handed it over. Big brother, happy birthday. Because I don't have much savings, I can only give you a belt. Thank you, Si. Hua Xiqian took the bag without opening it, but Hua Min could tell from the label that it was a luxury belt worth 70 to 80,000 RMB. Shun Jiani took out a brocade box and smiled. Although you don't lack watches, I really didn't know what to buy. So I discussed with Yin Yin and bought this for you. Do you like it? It was an Omega limited edition mail watch. Hua Xiqian glanced at it. It cost about 200,000 yuan. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't expensive either. For Shun Jiani, it was the most suitable. Hua Xiqian still had a smile on his face. He took the watch and said, "Thank you, Aunt Shun. Also, thank you, my good little sister Yin. Hua Min remained silent. This group of people really came from rich families. They were indeed different. Car, house, watch, belt. Just a few items just now would cost at least tens of millions. She truly felt that it was too extravagant. Just then, Shun Jiani purposely asked gently, "Mian, what gift did you get for Big Brother? Show it to us." Hua Min felt a little awkward. She really didn't prepare anything, but it wasn't her fault. Hua Xiqian, that bastard, didn't tell her that it was his birthday today. Hua Min was just about to reply that she didn't buy anything. Hua Xiqian interrupted, "Little sister Mian, I already gave him something." "Oh, what did this girl give him?" Hua Zhenghai was quite curious. Jiang Hong also smiled. "It must be expensive. After all, our Mian is now GK's a young lady." Hua Min could tell that they all knew about her relationship with Qin Shu. No wonder they looked at her differently this time. So that's why. Yeah, how could Qin Shu's wife be stingy? "Sister Hua Min, show it to us." Hua Si sneered. Chapter 633. This is my little secret, so I can't show it to you guys. However, I can tell you that Mian's gift is my favorite, Hua Xiqian purposely said mysteriously. Upon hearing this, Shun Jiani's expression changed slightly. Then, she looked at Hua Zhenghai, and the two of them seemed to exchange glances. After the dinner, Hua Min sat on the sofa and ate some fruit. "I'll ask the driver to take you home later," Hua Zhenghai said, not knowing what was going on. "No, Dad. Mian is staying at home today," Hua Xiqian interjected. "Staying at home?" Everyone seemed to be a little surprised. Hua Min didn't even want to come, but this time he was planning to stay at home? What was the reason for this? "Yeah, I'm pretty tired after work today, so I won't be going home," Hua Min explained calmly. "You're not going home? Will Qin Shu agree?" Hua Zhenghai was still in disbelief. "Dad, my brother-in-law isn't home. You must have heard about the incident at GK's subsidiary company, right?" Hua Xiqian reminded him. Hua Zhenghai slapped his forehead upon hearing this. "Oh, right, I just remembered. Look at me, I'm such a dotard. Mian, how's the situation over there?" "It's not done yet. Qin Shu is there to take care of the aftermath." "Oh, okay, don't worry, we're all family. If you need anything, just tell me, or your brother. We'll do our best to help you." Hua Min wanted to vomit at Hua Zhenghai's hypocritical words. Thinking back to last time, when Hua Zhenghai tried to tear down the old mansion and threatened his mother, Hua Min wanted to slap this old bastard. What a hypocrite. What a despicable person. However, he still had to save his face. Therefore, Hua Min obediently nodded. "I got it." After chatting for a bit, everyone went their separate ways. Hua Zhenghai liked to stay in his small study and read books and write calligraphy. Jiang Hong was a Buddhist, so she spent most of her time in the mansion's Buddhist temple chanting scriptures. Shun Jiani, on the other hand, liked to maintain her health. After dinner, she would go for a walk in the garden and trim the plants. Needless to say, Hua Si was also a frequent customer of the nightclub. After dinner, he couldn't wait to leave and didn't want to stay a minute longer. Before he left, he even told her that he had a friend's birthday today and might be out late, so she didn't have to wait for him. Hua Min sneered in his heart. How could he help this ado up? Even if he was given 3 zhuge liangs, he still wouldn't be a match for Hua Xiqian. Someone like Hua Si wouldn't be able to survive more than 2 episodes in an ancient palace drama. Hua Min really wondered how Hua Zhenghai and Shun Jiani had given birth to such an idiot. "Young master, Mrs. Room is ready." The maid came forward to report. "Okay, Mian, come with me." Hua Xiqian put one hand in his pocket and went upstairs. Hua Min quietly followed behind him. Hua Min was a bit worried about Qin Shu, but she couldn't call him in front of them, so she was a bit distracted. She didn't even notice that Hua Xiqian had stopped in front of her. Suddenly, she bumped into Hua Xiqian. She bounced back. She was still in the middle of the second floor, so her body leaned back. Huamin was scared out of his wits. Careful. Luckily, Huasiqian grabbed her arm in time. That was close. After standing up, Huamin was still scared. What are you thinking about? Didn't you hear what I said? Huasiqian looked at her, amused. Huamin didn't say anything. Are you thinking about what to give me as compensation for my birthday? You didn't tell me that it was your birthday, so you can't blame me for that, Huamin said confidently. What if I ask you for it now? Is it too late? Huasiqian stopped smiling and looked at Huamin seriously. Are you going out to buy it now? Huamin froze. No, you have what I want. Huasiqian stared at her and said word for word. Chapter 634. Huamin's heart sank. She didn't know what Huasiqian was up to. Are you going to give it to me or not? You haven't told me what it is. How am I going to give it to you? It's simple, just a lock of hair. Huasiqian reached out to touch Huamin's hair. However, she brushed his hand away. Why do you want my hair? Do you want it to be a curse? Give it to me? Huamin looked at him with a dark expression. You have such a wild imagination. It's a shame that you're not a writer. Huasiqian couldn't stop laughing. He hadn't laughed so heartily in a long time. Then why do you want my hair? Huamin felt like it was perverted to ask for someone's hair for no reason. Maybe it was because she read too many horror novels, but she always felt that something like hair shouldn't be given out so easily. Huasiqian didn't answer directly. Instead, he turned around and walked to a guest room on the second floor. Then he opened the door. It's very spacious here. You can sleep here tonight. Okay. Huamin nodded and walked in. She looked around. It was a postmodern mix of black and blue. It was simple and beautiful. To be honest, she quite liked the style. Is there anything else? Huamin turned around and saw that Huasiqian had no intention of leaving. Give me your hair. Huasiqian reached out his hand and continued to ask for a birthday present. You didn't even tell me what it was for. Why should I give it to you? Don't worry. I'm not going to cast a curse on you. I'm not that perverted, Huasiqian explained with a smile. That's not necessarily true. Huamin obviously didn't want to give it to him. Huasiqian walked over and closed the door. Then he whispered into Huamin's ear, I'm going to take your hair and do a DNA test. You? Huamian was indeed frightened by his words. Huasiqian wanted to do a DNA test for her out of the blue. Could it be that he knew something? Watching Huamin's expression change bit by bit, it was really fun. Huasiqian laughed again. Look at how scared you are. I was just teasing you. What DNA test? Aren't you my sister? Huamin didn't know what to say. What's wrong? Didn't your Uncle Jing and Dad carry you for a DNA test? What are you afraid of? Huasiqian asked. Huamin suddenly remembered that her mother had told her that not long after she was born, Uncle Jing did take her to Huazhenghai for a DNA test. The result was obvious, but the Hua family was still unwilling to acknowledge her, simply because she was a girl. If it had been a boy, the outcome might have been different. Everyone knew that Huazhenghai favored boys over girls. But she was already sure that she wasn't a member of the Hua family. So what was with the DNA test back then? Did Uncle Jing do something to it? But why would he do that? Huamin was confused. According to the results of her investigation, Jingda, or Uncle Jing, was the only person who knew the whole truth. He definitely knew exactly what had happened in Dong Tao Town back then. But even though he knew the truth, Uncle Jing still accompanied Huazhenghai to do a DNA test to prove that she was Huazhenghai's daughter. Why'd he do that? Was it for money? It didn't make sense later on. The Hua family didn't acknowledge her. All these years, Uncle Jing worked hard to support the family and was very good to her. It probably had nothing to do with money. Huamin fell into deep thought again. Huasiqian reminded her again, Little Sister Mian, can't we have a nice chat? Chapter 635. I definitely can't give you my hair, Huamin insisted. Is there no room for negotiation? Huasiqian looked at her as if he was wronged. No. So, you're not going to give me a present? You're so stingy, Huasiqian complained. Was Huamin stingy? Of course not. She just didn't prepare in advance. What's your WeChat number? Huamin took out his phone and asked. You want to add me? Hua Xiqian was immediately interested. Yeah. Huamin nodded, which was rare for him. Hua Xiqian immediately took out his phone from his pocket, opened the QR code, and placed it in front of Huamin. Here, Huamin silently took out his phone and glanced at it. When he saw Hua Xiqian's WeChat name, he was speechless. Humbly gentleman, was he? Of course not. His WeChat name was so ironic. He had no other choice. After it was verified, Huamin sent him a red envelope. Then it said, "Happy birthday." Hua Xiqian smiled in surprise. Oh, there's really a red envelope. I'm so happy. However, when he opened the red envelope, he couldn't be happy anymore. 88 yuan. 88 yuan. Little sister Mian, you're so generous. Hua Xiqian looked at Huamin helplessly. You're rich. You don't need money. It's just a token of my sincerity. Okay, you're right. I don't know what to say. Although Huamin only gave him a small red envelope, Hua Xiqian was still very happy because Huamin actually added him on WeChat. It seemed like he gained a lot. Go to bed early. I'm going out with my friends. Hua Xiqian waved his hand. Then he turned around and closed the door. Huamin heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that he hadn't caused any trouble. He had been scared out of his wits. Hair and DNA were all gimmicks, right? Huamin sat at the head of the bed. He was bored to death. This was not his home, and there were restrictions everywhere. Because the guest room didn't have a bathroom, it wasn't convenient to take a shower. She didn't want to go out and use the public bathroom, so she could only take out her phone to play. She also chatted with Zhu Lingling. You said you only gave Hua Xiqian 88 yuan? Zhu Lingling laughed maniacally in the voice message. It was very demonic. You're too stingy. Don't forget that she gave you an 8 million yuan bracelet for your birthday. So what? Huamin disagreed. 8 million yuan and 88 yuan is too big of a difference, right? It doesn't need money, and I didn't prepare anything else. He kept asking me for more, so I had no choice but to send him a WeChat red packet, Huamin said helplessly. You're a genius, Zhu Lingling exclaimed. After chatting with Zhu Lingling, Huamin received a call from Qin Shu. Hubby, Huamin greeted obediently. You're such a good girl. Did you do something wrong again? Qin Shu asked. Of course not. Why would I? You didn't drink behind my back, right? Qin Shu asked worriedly. No, I swear. What are you doing? I was bored. I just chatted with Lingling on WeChat. What about you? I just came back from work. How's it going over there? Huamin was worried. It's almost done. I'll be back tomorrow. That's great. Huamin was excited. What? Did you miss me? Qin Shu chuckled. Of course, yeah, I missed you too. I haven't eaten you in a long time. I really miss your taste. Ahem. Qin Shu's explicit confession made Huamin cough violently. Mr. Qin, can you be a little more reserved? Why should I be reserved? Honey, you'll have to get used to it. Huamin was speechless. Honey, is your period coming? My period is coming in a few days. How about I book a flight back right now? Qin Shu was really in a hurry. If he waited until Huamian's period came, he would be delayed for another week, and he would probably go crazy. Chapter 636. Don't joke around. Do you have to be in such a hurry? Of course I'm in a hurry. I don't want to wait a second longer. Although they were on the other side of the phone, Huamin's face still reddened slightly. Qin Shu wasn't a particularly lustful person, but he was still addicted to Huamian. Honey, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, then I'll get off work early and wait for you at home. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Huamin's heart was still filled with sweetness. The chemistry between her and Qin Shu was always this high. They were each other's most important existences, and they cared about each other the most. Although she didn't know how things were going on over there, Huamin believed that Qin Shu would take care of everything. With Mr. Qin's intelligence and wisdom, any problem wouldn't be a problem anymore. Seductive Fox, Hua Xiqian's friends booked a luxurious private room here. There were more than 30 men and women in the private room, and they were all extremely happy. Su Yu and Wei Liao were also there. It was very lively. Su Yu and Hua Xiqian sat side by side, drinking and chatting. You seem to be very nice to Huamin, brother Hua. Su Yu had a smile on his face. He's my little sister, Of course I have to take care of her. Huasiqian knew that Suyu was talking about Mo Shuer. He helped Huamin and GK, which meant that he was indirectly going against Suyu. The good thing was that Suyu didn't care because Huamin was there. It's your birthday today. Why didn't your little sister come? Suyu's words were filled with sarcasm. After all, he knew that Huasiqian and Huamin didn't have a good relationship. Or to put it bluntly, Huamin didn't like this older brother of his. Huasiqian could hear the sarcasm in Huamian's voice, but he only smiled. My little sister is tired. She wanted to rest after dinner. I just sent her back to the guest room to rest. She's in your house. Suyu was a little surprised. Yeah, the little girl followed me home after work. She had dinner with me and even sent me a WeChat red packet, Huasiqian said as he took out his phone to show off to Suyu. Then, before Suyu could say anything, he added, although it's only 88 yuan. As far as I know, there are very few people who can cheat her of her money. Huh. Indeed. Suyu's reply was sour. Why was everyone else so lucky to have Huamin's WeChat? Why didn't he have it? How's President Su doing? I heard that Jian Tong is very popular at Imperial Star. She's not my cup of tea. Su picked up a glass of wine and slowly took a sip. Are you still thinking about my little sister? She's married. Huasiqian laughed. I don't need you to remind me of that. I've always known. So what if she's married? Can she guarantee that she'll be with Qin Chu forever? I don't believe it. I'll wait. Wait for the day she divorces Qin Chu. Ha! I'm afraid that's a little difficult. I'm never afraid of difficult things in my life. Suyu was full of confidence. Okay, then I hope that you'll realize your dream soon. How about you help me persuade your little sister to dump Qin Chu as soon as possible? I don't know what's so good about that guy. His face is as cold as ice, and he doesn't even smile. He's so old-fashioned, just like an old man. How boring. Suyu acted like a child, criticizing Qin Chu in front of Huasiqian. Huasiqian only smiled. If my words were effective, then things wouldn't be like this now. You know how willful my little sister is. The two of them chatted and laughed. In the blink of an eye, it was already late at night. Huasiqian never rejected beautiful women, so he was known as a playboy in the entertainment industry. Many of the beauties in the room wanted to leave with Huasiqian. After all, he was handsome and gentle, apparently. He was also very good in bed, therefore, they didn't hold back anymore. Just as the girls were getting into a heated argument, the door to the room suddenly opened. Io, the superstar, is here. Someone in the private room shouted. Mo Shuer walked in elegantly, wearing a golden dress and letting her long, wavy hair down. Then, she sat down right next to Huasiqian. I just finished recording a new song. Sorry for being late, Mo Shuer said. It's okay, as long as you're here. Huasiqian smiled gently. Young Master Su, you're here too. Mo Shuer nodded and greeted Suyu when she saw him. If I knew that you wouldn't go to the States, you would have signed with Imperial Star. Suyu looked at Mo Shuer half-jokingly. Chapter 637. Young Master Su, you must be joking. Imperial Star is full of stars. How could a small celebrity like me fit in? Mo Shuer was extremely talented, so even when she was talking to a big shot like Suyu, she was still fearless. This was very admirable. Wei Liao and Suyu both smiled, but they didn't say anything. Huasiqian hung out with them for a little while longer. Seeing that it was getting late, he left Seductive Fox with Mo Shuer. Everyone went their separate ways. Xiqian, come to my place tonight. Mo Shuer rarely acted coquettishly. Perhaps it was because she drank a lot today, but she wrapped her arms around Huasiqian's neck and stuck to him. Not today. As expected, Huasiqian rejected her. Why not? Mo Shuer was a little disappointed. Shuer, you never ask why. Huasiqian smiled, got into his car, and drove away. I think I know. Actually, I knew from the first time I saw her. Her eyes are very similar to mine. No, they're even prettier than mine. So, you've always been nice to me because of her, right? Sure, women shouldn't be too smart. It's tiring. Huasiqian didn't answer her directly, but he indirectly admitted it. Mo Shuer felt extremely uncomfortable, but she didn't show it. They didn't speak the entire way back to her place. Emo Shue, still wanted to ask, "Are you really not coming up with me? It's fine if you don't want to, but can we at least do it?" Emo Shue was very direct. What she meant was that he didn't need to stay the night, and he could leave as soon as he finished. However, Huasiqian still rejected her. "Go up, it's getting late." "Okay then, be careful. Bye." In the end, Emo Shue reluctantly waved her hand and turned to go upstairs. Huasiqian drove off in the new Bentley that old fart gave him. 11:30 p.m. Huamin was actually quite picky with his bed. He was used to staying at Imperial Park, so when he first arrived at South Hill Manor, he couldn't sleep. It was because he wasn't used to it. He thought that he wouldn't be able to sleep here, but to his surprise, the incense in the house smelled so good. She actually fell asleep in a daze. This kind of smell was something that she, a doctor, had never smelled before. It was a very strange smell. Perhaps she didn't know that the incense lamp contained a unique hypnotic spice. So, Huamin fell into a deep sleep. Just then, the door opening, Huasiqian walked in wearing a white shirt and black pants. Huamian Shiza's aunts Huaz's master Huaz, he covered Hua, and Mrs. Hua, Hun finally, Huaz, Hua, Su. In Hua Su's Hans Hua alone in Hua S. Standing S. T and look was it was such a luxury to let her sleep in the Hua mansion for one night. He was the one who made Emo Shue give up her future in Hollywood in exchange for this opportunity. His request was simple. Huamian could spend the night here alone. Even though he knew that Huamin was fast asleep, she wouldn't know even if he did something. But he didn't. Under the dim moonlight, he stared at Huamin's beautiful nose and red lips. Huasiqian felt like something was slowly growing in his heart. "Mian, you're great. But how long do I have to wait?" Huasiqian's eyes darkened. Chapter 638. Huamin had a very hazy dream. She felt like someone was looking at her in her room, but she couldn't wake up. Morning. Huamin woke up at 6 in the morning and washed up. Then, without waiting for anyone else to wake up, she headed downstairs. She couldn't wait to leave the Hua mansion. She didn't want to stay a second longer. However, to her surprise, she bumped into Huayin at the door, who had just come home. It seemed like she had just come home and hadn't removed her makeup yet. Her hair was messy, and her heels were covered in dirt. "Why are you here?" Huayin asked impolitely when she saw Huamin. "Why can't I be here? My last name is Hua too." Huamin purposely tried to piss her off. Dad didn't publicly acknowledge you, but you and your mother shamelessly threw themselves at me. Don't be so loud. We're both mistresses. You're laughing at me like this. It's like the pot calling the kettle black. You're so stupid." After speaking, Huamin didn't plan on paying any attention to her and walked away. However, Huayin grabbed on her hair. She didn't hold back at all. Huayin had been fooling around a lot lately, and she didn't come home until late at night. The person she admired the most was Su Yu, but she was sure that she had no chance with him. Su Yu didn't even talk to her. He didn't even give her a chance to eat with him. When she heard that Huamin was going to marry Qin Chu, she was furious. She was so jealous that she went crazy. She was so ordinary, and she looked so ordinary. How could she have everything? Yin didn't want to admit defeat. In a fit of anger, she lost control and grabbed onto Huamin's hair. Huamin didn't expect Huayin to actually hit her. She was crazy. Before she could fight back, Huayin screamed in pain. Huamian turned around and saw that Huayin had been pushed to the corner by Huasiqian and was leaning against the table. "Let go of me. Don't do things like this again." Huasiqian coldly stared into Huayin's eyes. "It's none of your business. I'm here to teach that bitch a lesson," Huayin yelled. As soon as the word bitch left his mouth, Huasiqian tightened his grip. Huayin couldn't breathe. "Ugh. Let go. Let go. If I see you looking for trouble with Huamin again, you will leave the country immediately." Huasi has learned his lesson after staying in the Philippines for 3 months. "Why don't I send you to India? I heard that you could do whatever you want to women on the bus there. With your personality, I'm sure you'll like it." Huasiqian enunciated each word clearly. Huayin was so scared that her face turned pale. No, no. Get out. You're ruining my good mood. Hua Xiqian suddenly let go of Hua Yinyan, and Hua Yinyan ran upstairs. Aren't you afraid that she'll tell the old man what you did to her? Hua Min looked at Hua Xiqian and asked. Hua Xiqian picked up a handkerchief and wiped his hands. Then he said nonchalantly, if I was afraid of this and that, would I have been safe and sound in this family for so many years? Ha, you're right. Hua Min actually admired Hua Xiqian. He was an adopted son who had lived in the Hua family for so many years, and his status was as stable as a mountain. You're leaving so early. You haven't had breakfast yet, Hua Xiqian said as he looked at Hua Min. I'm not hungry. I'm not eating. Huh, I think you don't want to stay a second longer. Fine, I'm going out too. Let's go together. We're both driving our own cars. There's no point in us leaving together, right? Hua Min said helplessly. Meaning depends on the person. Let's go, Hua Xiqian said meaningfully before leaving with Hua Min. After Hua Yin went upstairs, she frantically knocked on the door to the master bedroom. When Shun Jiani opened the door in her pajamas, Hua Zhenghai woke up and leaned against the headboard. Yin Yin, what are you doing so early in the morning? Mom, Dad, Hua Xiqian wants to strangle me and send me to India. Hua Yin was so scared that she started crying and stuttering. Chapter 639. What's going on? Shun Jiani frowned slightly. Hua Zhenghai also looked towards the door. Let her in. Shun Jiani opened the door to see Hua Yinyan crying so hard that her makeup was smudged. Yin walked in and explained what just happened while crying. Of course, she avoided the important details and talked about the trivial ones. After hearing what she said, Hua Zhenghai asked, Did you yell at Hua Min again? I didn't. I just said a few things to her, Hua Yinyan said guiltily. You don't have to hide it. How could I not know what you've been like all these years? How many times have I told you that Hua Min isn't the same as before? She's President Qin's wife now, a young lady of GK. We still need her to help you deal with Hua Xiqian, but now you're the one who pushed her over. Isn't it normal for Hua Xiqian to help Hua Min? I knew that he was trying to get Hua Min on his birthday when he invited Hua Min over. Shun Jiani was speechless as she looked at her brainless daughter. Hua Zhenghai's face darkened. Yin Yin, you need to change your personality. You can't keep messing around like this. Dad, I don't want to go to India. Don't make me go abroad. C was in the Philippines for so long and almost couldn't come back. It's so scary. It turned out that she was worried about being exiled. Don't worry. Your dad loves you so much, he won't. Shun Jiani felt bad for her daughter, so she held Hua Yinyan's hand and comforted her. As long as I'm alive, that adopted son of mine won't be able to call the shots. I know what I'm doing, but don't cause trouble for yourself. I know, Dad. Hua Yinyan was relieved to hear that her father was willing to protect her. Don't run around for a while if necessary. We can choose to get married. Dad, I don't want to get married so early. That's not up to you. You have to think about the bigger picture, Hua Zhenghai lectured. Yin Yin, do you still have any hope with Suyu? Shun Jiani asked tentatively. Hua Yinyan shook her head dejectedly. I can't even see him now. Suyu's circle is very closed. Only a few people can hang out with him. I was lucky enough to see him a few times before, but he completely ignored me. I heard that Suyu is interested in Hua Xiqian. Hua Zhenghai remembered what Hua Xiqian said before. That vixen, she's so shameless. She's already married, but she's still trying to seduce young Master Su. Disgusting. Shut up and listen to your father. Shun Jiani glared at her daughter. If Suyu really likes Suyu, then her words have weight. Why don't we let Yin Yin stay with Hua Min? Maybe she'll be able to see Suyu, but the Su family isn't a place where we can just marry into. Shun Jiani was a little worried. That's not a problem. As long as Yin Yin is pregnant, the Su family won't deny it. Old Master Su is very strict, Hua Zhenghai analyzed. Dad, are you asking me to beg Hua Min? I don't want to. I hate her to death. You don't have to do it. With your relationship with her, I don't think she'll help you. I'll think of a way. Okay, Dad. As long as I can be with Suyu, I'll listen to everything you say. Hua Yin wiped away her tears, and her bad mood immediately disappeared. Hua Zhenghai was good at scheming. and now he had set his sights on Huamin. That was because she was too valuable to be used, of course. Huamin wasn't easy to talk to, and he still had to plan this carefully. Huamin and Huasiqian left the Hua mansion one after another and went their separate ways at a fork in the road. Huamin drove straight to Southside just as she arrived at the office. A delivery man came in behind her. "Miss Huamin? This is the breakfast that Mr. Huasiqian ordered for you." After speaking, the delivery man placed an exquisite lunchbox on the table. Chapter 640. Just leave it here. Okay, please enjoy. Huamin changed into her white lab coat and looked at the breakfast. She thought that Huasiqian was a very attentive person. Breakfast was sumptuous. There were deep-fried dough sticks, hot soy milk, pickles, and a box of soup dumplings. Just as she was about to eat, Huasiqian sent her a WeChat message. "Is breakfast here yet?" "Just got here." "Okay, eat up. You have a weak stomach. Try not to go hungry in the future." "Thank you." This was the first time that Huamin spoke to Huasiqian without hostility. Even when Imo Shui signed the contract, she didn't thank him so sincerely. Huamin's stomach was an old problem. It started when she was in school. Because she didn't like to eat breakfast, she often went to school on an empty stomach. In the end, it developed into gastritis. Eating hot or cold food, or hard or spicy food, would cause her stomach to hurt. This was a small problem that even Chu didn't care about, but Huasiqian actually knew about it. He even knew that the medicine she took when she was sick was called omeprazole. How'd he know? After Huamin finished breakfast, she casually scrolled through her friend's circle to see what everyone was saying. To her surprise, she saw that Huasiqian had posted something. Huasiqian's birthday was yesterday, so logically speaking, he should be showing off at night with celebrities. However, this morning he only posted a screenshot of Huamin's red packet. Huamin's name was blurred out, but with such an awesome number, Huamin definitely knew that it was him. Other than himself, no one else would dare to send Huasiqian 88. After Huasiqian posted, the comment section exploded. "Mr. Hua, what's going on? Who sent you that red packet? That's a huge one. Young Master Hua, who is this? Why are you censoring her? Let us see. Boss, tell me, who sent this red packet? Are they trying to embarrass the whole corporation? I'm going to chop her up right now." In any case, everyone was saying all sorts of things. Huasiqian didn't reply. He just smiled. However, Su Yu's reply was more thought-provoking. He only commented with 3 words, "I want it too." Huasiqian replied, "I'll send you 88 in a bit." "I don't want it from you. I want it from her." Su Yu proudly replied. "Haha, then I won't be able to help you," Huasiqian said proudly. He knew that Su Yu was jealous of him, jealous to the point of madness. This was the first time in his life that he felt so superior. After breakfast, Huamin began to get busy. During this time, he sent a WeChat message to Chu. Chu had already boarded the plane and would be landing in 3 hours. Huamin was ecstatic at the thought of being able to share a bed with Mr. Qin tonight. During lunch, just as he was about to go to the cafeteria, he received a phone call. "Huamin, I'm Jiang Xiaowei." Huamin didn't know how to react. "I'm outside the hospital. Come out for a second." "Okay." Huamin hung up the phone and walked to the door. As expected, Jiang Xiaowei was eavesdropping outside the hospital in a white Lexus. "What's wrong? Why aren't you coming in?" Huamin asked curiously as he looked at her through the car window. "Get in the car. Come with me." Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin and said. Jiang Xiaowei always appeared and disappeared like a ghost. She rarely contacted Huamin, but she always went straight to the point on WeChat. She never liked or sent him a private message. She was truly a cold and aloof woman. However, she was willing to be friends with Huamin. Weirdos liked weirdos. If Jiang Xiaowei didn't say that she was straight, Huamin would have suspected that she was gay. Chapter 641. Where are we going? I have to go to work in a bit. Huamin was a little hesitant. I'll be back soon. Don't worry, it won't take up too much of your time. Okay. Huamin nodded. Without another word, he opened the car door and got into the car. 10 minutes later, they arrived at a high-end Western restaurant. Jiang Xiaowei waved her hand. "Waiter, we're here to order." Then, she looked at Huamin. "Their steak is really good. I'll order for you." "Okay." Jiang Xiaowei then ordered 2 steaks, 2 drinks, fruit salad, and ice cream. Then, the two began to eat in silence. After about 30 minutes, they were full. Huamin asked curiously, "Did you ask me to come here to eat with you?" "No. I'm here to go on a blind date with me." "Blind date? Where is he?" Huamin looked left and right, but he didn't see a single man. "He'll be here soon. I asked him to come at 12:30. He'll be here right after we finish eating." Don't we have to wait for him? Is that okay?" Huamin thought that Jiang Xiaowei came half an hour early, ate like crazy, and then waited for a blind date. What an awesome idea. "Why should I wait for him? It's not like I don't know him that well," Jiang Xiaowei said matter-of-factly. "You're so outstanding, so you have to go on blind dates too." Huamin truly admired Jiang Xiaowei. She was young, pretty, highly educated, and came from a good family. She really had no flaws. But a woman like her had to go on blind dates. It was quite sad. "Haven't you heard of the ABCD law?" Jiang Xiaowei wiped the corner of her mouth and asked Huamin. Huamin shook his head. "Okay, when did you come to Earth?" Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin helplessly, as if she was really looking at an alien. Huamin felt that he was fashionable enough. He would check Weibo or something when he had nothing to do. However, in Jiang Xiaowei's eyes, he suddenly became an alien. Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huamin helplessly and said slowly, "If men and women are divided into 4 levels of excellence, A, B, C, and D, then a man will look for B woman, B man will look for C woman, C man will look for D woman, and in the end, only a woman and D man will be left. These are 2 extremes, and these 2 types of people will never be together. Men will never want to find someone better than themselves, and women will always want to find the best. This is the tragedy of society." "So, you're the only one left," Huamin sighed. "Correct." Huamin suddenly felt very grateful. She didn't come from a good family, and she wasn't extremely beautiful either. Therefore, she categorized herself as a B-woman. In the end, she was able to be within a man like Mr. Qin. Jiang Xiaowei's words made a lot of sense. Just then, a young man wearing glasses walked over from not too far away. Then, he looked at the 2 women at the table and was a bit confused. "Excuse me, which one of you is Miss Jiang Xiaowei?" The man in glasses asked weakly. Huamin pointed at Jiang Xiaowei, who was sitting beside him. The man in glasses nodded and sat down across from them. First, he looked at the empty plates that were left over. Then, he looked at Jiang Xiaowei and introduced himself. "Hello, my name is Du Zhongqi. I graduated from Beijing University with a master's degree in finance and economics. My mother works at the Water Conservancy Bureau as a section chief, and my father is an executive at a telecommunications company. Our family owns 8 houses in this city, and this guy is really honest." He immediately introduced himself as soon as he arrived. It was as if he was reciting a textbook. Huamin almost laughed when he heard this before the man in glasses could finish. Jiang Xiaowei impatiently waved her hand and interrupted him. "Sorry, I had to interrupt you first." Chapter 642. Jiang Xiaowei then asked, "I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in your family background, wealth, or your parents' jobs at all. Marriage is a matter between 2 people. I only care about you as a person. I chose to go on a blind date with you this time because your resume said that your IQ is as high as 115, right?" "That's right." The man in glasses nodded, feeling a sense of superiority. "Very good. They'll give you 3 questions. Try them out. Are you going to give me questions?" Huamin mumbled quietly after hearing Jiang Xiaowei's words. "If I don't give him questions, how would I know if his high IQ is his own or someone else's?" There are so many scammers nowadays, after hearing Jiang Xiaowei's words. Huamin felt like they made a lot of sense, therefore, she silently ate her ice cream and waited to see what questions Jiang Xiaowei was going to give to her blind date. She thought about it and thought that it would be fun. There's an incense stick. The thickness is uneven. In ancient times, people used incense sticks to calculate time. For example, the time it takes for an incense stick to burn is 1 hour. However, when the thickness of the incense is uneven, it can be fast or slow. Burning halfway doesn't mean that it's actually half an hour. Tell me, how do you use this uneven incense stick to calculate an accurate half an hour? After Jiang Xiaowei gave him her questions, the man in glasses was a little dumbfounded. He thought that Jiang Xiaowei was going to give him a brain teaser, like how there are 7 monkeys on the tree and 1 monkey on the ground. How many monkeys are there in total? However, after Jiang Xiaowei gave him her questions, he racked his brains but still couldn't come up with an answer. Bro, it's been 1 minute. Do you know how to do it or not? Jiang Xiaowei looked at her watch impatiently. Give me some more time. I need to think. The man in glasses was a little anxious. In fact, he really wanted to take out his phone and search on Baidu, but he was helpless as the 2 women across from him looked at him. Then, Jiang Xiaowei looked at Huomin and said, "Tell him, I can't take it anymore." Huomin stopped eating her ice cream and said calmly, "It's actually quite simple. You just have to light up the 2 ends of the incense stick. The place where the flames meet might not be the center of the incense stick, but the time it takes for them to meet is exactly half an incense stick's time, which is half an hour. Did you hear that?" Jiang Xiaowei looked at the man in glasses. The man nodded. "I'm enlightened." Then, listen to the next question. Another test? The man in glasses was a little nervous. "Isn't your IQ 115? The one sitting next to me is 130. So, in order to test your IQ, I still have to ask." The man in glasses looked at Huomin guiltily. Jiang Xiaowei continued, "This one's quite simple. I'll give you 10 seconds to answer. Listen carefully. There are 4 pairs of socks of different colors on my bedside. Every time I wear them, I randomly pick up a few and find a pair. How many socks do I have to pick up to make sure there's at least 1 pair of socks?" "Let me think, it should be 4, the man in glasses answered. Huomin looked at him sympathetically and interrupted. "She has 4 socks of different colors. What if she's unlucky and picks up 4 socks of different colors?" Yeah, I didn't think of that." The man in glasses seemed to have just realized. Huomin added sympathetically, "So, you have to pick up at least 5 socks to make sure there's a pair." Jiang Xiaowei looked at the man in glasses coldly. "Do you really have an IQ of 115? Did something go wrong?" "I can't. My school gave it to me. I also answered a lot of questions." The man in glasses looked wronged. "Okay, I'll give you one last chance. If you can't answer this question, you should leave. Don't waste my time. I can't stand men with low IQs." Then, Jiang Xiaowei asked, "A robber caught a farmer. He said to the farmer, 'Do you think I'll kill you? If you guessed right, I'll let you go. If you guessed wrong, I'll kill you.' The farmer thought for a moment and answered, 'You'll kill me.' So, the robber let him go. The farmer saved his life. How did the farmer guess right?" After Jiang Xiaowei asked this question, the man in glasses was once again dumbfounded. These questions were so weird, he had never heard of them before. Chapter 643. This is super easy. Do you need to think about it for a long time? Jiang Xiaowei was going crazy. She was going to teach her old man a lesson when she got back. What the hell did he arrange for her? Even his IQ had to be fake. The man in glasses seemed to be thinking hard, but he couldn't come up with an answer. In the end, he had no choice but to take out his phone and put it under the table. Before he could check, Jiang Xiaowei said, "Don't ask Baidu. This doesn't fit your status as a top student in the finance department of Beijing University." Her words made the bespectacled man's face flush red. He was suddenly at a loss and didn't know what to do. Then, he suddenly remembered that there was a woman with an IQ of 130 beside him. So, he looked at Huomin for help. Huomin slowly finished her ice cream and said, "This is actually a logical problem. First of all, there's something wrong with the robber's question. If the robber thinks that the farmer's answer is wrong, that you would kill me, then it proves that he didn't want to kill the farmer, and the farmer can't die. If the robber thinks that the farmer's answer is right, that you would kill me, then the robber has to fulfill his promise and let the farmer go. The farmer still can't die. This is a logical flaw. Oh, I see. The man in glasses suddenly understood. Okay, you can go now. Waiter, the bill. Jiang Xiaowei stood up. Can you give me another chance? I'm probably too nervous, so... The man in glasses anxiously explained. I don't have time to play mind games with you, goodbye. Ah, then this lady, can you give me your contact information? We can be friends or something. The man in glasses saw that he had no chance with Jiang Xiaowei, so he turned his attention to Huamin. This time, it was Huamin's turn to be confused. What a weirdo. How dare you flirt with her? Aren't you afraid that her husband will beat your brains out? Jiang Xiaowei laughed. You're married? The man in glasses looked at Huamin in disappointment. Okay. Huamin nodded. That's a pity. The man in glasses picked up his bag and walked out of the restaurant dejectedly. Huamin got into Jiang Xiaowei's car and couldn't help laughing. Your blind date is too weird. That's considered normal. I've met that kind of science fanatic before. He's a chemistry fanatic and often makes explosions. Even when he eats with me, he brings all kinds of explosives. It's too scary. He even calls himself a lonely genius. It seems like it's quite difficult to find a partner these days. Huamin chuckled. That's right. That's why I'm so envious that you managed to win over your husband in high school. Since Jiang Xiaowei was right, Huamin smiled embarrassedly. At the entrance of the hospital, Jiang Xiaowei got out of the car to send Huamin back to the hospital. Aren't you going up to sit for a while? No. I have a hypnosis session with a patient in the afternoon. All right. I'm still paying attention to Ni Yang's condition. Call me the next time you have a session. Okay. Huamin nodded. Also, thank you for today. You can come with me. You treated me to a big meal too. Huamin chuckled. Jiang Xiaowei seemed to be in a good mood. She flashed her 2 little canine teeth. Then she smiled and said goodbye to Huamin. When they walked out, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan happened to be walking out of Southside, as well apparently Tang Chuan's girlfriend. Oh no, his partner had too much fun with him last night. The girl's back and legs hurt, and she was hospitalized. To comfort the girl, Tang Chuan personally sent over a check for 200,000 yuan to settle the matter. It's so damn expensive to pick up girls these days, a nurse costs 200,000 yuan. Wei Liao chuckled. Isn't that normal? Last time, didn't Lord Su buy a pink Lamborghini for a nurse that cost over 10 million yuan? Although she didn't want it in the end. Tang Chuan recalled the time when Su Yu chased after Huamin. How can that be the same? Your ass. Lord Su is in love with her. What's the difference? Their ultimate goal is the same. Lord Su still wants to sleep with her, doesn't he? The two of them went back and forth. Suddenly, Tang Chuan saw the beauty in front of him. She had long legs and was wearing a miniskirt. He immediately became playful. He yelled, Hey, beauty, your sanitary napkin fell off. Jiang Xiaowei didn't even turn her head. She calmly replied, No, I'll give it to you for lunch. Puffed. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan almost vomited blood. Chapter 644. Jiang Xiaowei didn't even look back. She threw out this sentence and walked away in a carefree manner. Then she got into a low-key Lexus. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan only saw the side of her face. She's a killer profile. Wei Liao felt it was a pity that he didn't get to see her face. She's a bourgeois who drives a Lexus. She's probably a long-legged beauty, but her words aren't pleasant to the ears. Tang Chuan was speechless when he thought about how he failed to tease her and was rebutted. You're blaming her for being unpleasant to the ears? Didn't you make fun of her when you teased her? Wei Liao laughed. Hurry up and take a picture of her license plate number. We'll investigate her in the traffic department. Tang Chuan suggested. Forget it. You haven't cleaned up your mess yet. You have to be careful when you're dating. Wei Liao kindly reminded him. It's just a matter of money. I don't lack money. The problem is, if you meet someone who doesn't care about money but lives, you'd be an idiot. If you don't marry her, she'll turn your world upside down. I don't think so. I can't be that unlucky. Tang Chuan was still hoping for a fluke. If you walk by the river, your shoes will eventually get wet. Wei Liao smiled and patted Tang Chuan on the shoulder. Huomin had never seen Jiang Xiaowei go on a blind date like this. He wanted to laugh out loud. That guy in glasses was really stressed out. Actually, with Jiang Xiaowei's personality, she could handle a small matter like this in minutes. As for why she insisted on coming to Southside to pick up Huomin, it was probably because it was too boring to eat alone. When Huomin came back in the afternoon, Director Li happened to be in the office. Huomin, Director Li. Huomin immediately stood up. How's An Yang's case? Is there any progress? Department Director Li had just returned from studying abroad and seemed to be very interested in An Yang's medical records. Yes, there's progress. An Yang can now fall asleep normally, but the rest will take some time. After all, depression can't be cured immediately, Huomin explained. Well done. I heard that you used a very strange treatment. When Director Li came back, he also found that the hospital had changed a lot. Deputy Director Gua, who had been a parasite for many years, and his brother-in-law had quietly entered the hospital to eat boxed lunches. This is so satisfying. The young nurses at Southside would privately talk about how Huomin had saved the young nurse that day and secretly gave him a thumbs up. Director Li had also heard about it. He had also spoken to An Yang when he came back, so he was very impressed with Huomin. I was just giving it a try. I didn't expect it to work so well. Here's a form for you to fill out. Director Li handed him a blank form. What's this? Huomin looked at the form and was a little confused. This is a survey form from our Psychiatry Research Center. You can fill it out however you want. Really? Huomin had a bad feeling about this. I'm already in my 50s. Why would I lie to you? Director Li smiled kindly. Okay. I'll fill it out and send it to you in a bit. Director Li nodded. I'll learn a lot from my trip abroad. I'll organize the information and send it to your email. Remember to check it out when you're free. It'll be helpful. Okay. Huomin truly felt that Director Li liked him a lot. He was even willing to share such a private project with him. After Director Li left, Huomin continued to work. After making ward rounds, he returned to the on-call desk and gave some instructions to the young nurses. Then, he saw a young nurse walk over with a small bamboo basket. Head nurse. Hello, he said timidly. Chapter 645. Huomin turned around and saw the nurse he saved from scumbag Chi the other day. Oh, it's you. Huomin smiled. Head nurse, you saved me last time, and I haven't thanked you yet. These are free-range eggs my dad brought from his hometown. They're very nutritious. It's our stupid chicken. I hope you don't mind. The nurse held up a small bamboo basket with both hands to show her sincerity. You don't have to be so polite. Huomin really didn't save her for her gratitude, so he didn't want her to accept it. What day and age are we living in? Why would the head nurse care about your eggs when she drives an Audi R8? Seriously. The nurses from orthopedics department mocked her. The nurse's cheeks were slightly red as she held up the bamboo basket, feeling a little awkward. It was indeed a little embarrassing, but she really didn't have anything to give her. The head nurse drove a $1 million luxury car, and as an intern nurse, her monthly salary wasn't even as expensive as the head nurse's car maintenance. So what else could she give her? After much consideration, she discussed it with her boyfriend and decided to give him some local specialties from her hometown. She was born in the countryside, so she called her father back home, and her father took a 10-hour-long train ride here. She brought 200 free-range eggs, kept 100 for herself, and planned to give the remaining 100 to Huomin to express her sincerity. However, she didn't expect to be mocked after hearing these words. Huomin's face darkened. She gave me sincerity, and sincerity is priceless. There are many things in this world that can't be measured with money. Being responsible will make you lose the beauty of the world. The nurses pouted and didn't say anything. Huomin carefully took the bamboo basket and opened it to take a look. What beautiful eggs! Thank you, and thank your father for me. The nurse's eyes were slightly filled with surprise. Head nurse, if you like, I'll give you more in the future. Okay, after I finish eating, I'll come back to you. But next time, I'll have to pay you. I'll buy your free-range eggs for a long time. Okay? Huomin smiled. No. If you like it, I'll give it to you for free. It'll always be free. The nurse was flattered. Okay. In order not to embarrass the young nurse, Huamin agreed to whatever she said with a smile. Then he saw the young nurse leave in a good mood. Respecting others was Huamin's most basic requirement for himself. Nothing would change because of his identity. After a busy afternoon, Huamin drove to the supermarket after work. She bought a lot of fresh watercolors and fruits because Mr. Qin was coming back today. After being busy for a few days, the matters in Tea City finally came to an end. She was going to cook a delicious meal for Mr. Qin. 4 dishes and a soup, stir-fried shredded pork with green beans, and steamed eggs with dried shrimps. The eggs were native eggs sent by the nurse, and even the egg yolks were golden. There was also braised carp, braised chicken feet, and beef radish soup. A fragrant aroma filled the air. Although their home in Imperial Park wasn't as luxurious and spacious as South Hill Manor, Huamin liked it very much. After everything was done, she put on an apron and combed her hair into a ponytail. She sat on the sofa and took out her phone. Mr. Qin, where are you? I'm still in Tea City. Huh? You're still there? Didn't you say you'd be back in the afternoon? Huamin was slightly disappointed. Something came up, and I needed to take care of it. Oh, I thought you'd be back, so I prepared dinner for you. Okay. Huamin's voice message was filled with disappointment. She put away her phone and took a deep breath. She walked up to the dining table and was about to eat when she heard the sound of a key unlocking the door. Huamin didn't even have time to put on her shoes. She ran up barefoot and hugged Qin Shu's waist. Ah, you bad guy. Didn't you say you were in Tea City? Chapter 646. I'm just teasing you. Qin Chu lovingly patted Huamin's head. I miss you so much. You're not leaving this time, right? Huamin felt extremely insecure. Yeah, it's all done. Qin Chu let go of Huamin, took off his jacket, and went to the kitchen to wash his hands. What are we going to do? Did you find out who caused the accident? Huamin asked worriedly. The person in charge of the accident has fled overseas and can't be found. We can only take the blame personally. However, because I don't want to affect our company's reputation, I investigated the manufacturer who provided the raw materials and sued them in court. The legal team has already gone over there to go through the legal procedures. Huamin nodded, seemingly relieved. What about the compensation for the family members? Other than the compensation that we gave before, I added another 2 million yuan to each of them. The family members of the deceased will be compensated another 800,000 yuan. Our company will pay for this money first. After we win the lawsuit, we'll see if those unscrupulous and black-hearted manufacturers will compensate us. That's good. The dust has finally settled. Honey, you've been working hard these past few days. Huamin walked over and hugged Qin Chu's neck coquettishly. She rubbed her chin against Qin Chu's. Perhaps because she had been too busy, she looked a little haggard. Qin Chu's chin had a faint stubble, which made Huamin feel a slight prickle. You're the one who's been working the hardest. You've been worried about me, and you even have to solve the company's crisis when I'm not around. Honey, it's so good to have you. Qin Chu lowered his head and gently kissed Huamin's lips. It was a light kiss, but it was filled with love. Okay, let's stop being so sentimental. Let's eat. Okay. Then the couple sat down to eat. Honey, do an exclusive interview with me tomorrow. What exclusive interview? Huamin was a little confused. I accepted an interview with Legend. I want to bring you with me tomorrow. Qin Chu ate slowly and methodically. Myth? Huamian knew that this was an interview that was very influential in the country. The host was the most famous female host in the mainland, Jinlan. The people she interviewed were all influential people, and they were all big shots in the financial world and superstars in the sports world. Are you saying that you want me to go on TV with you? The ratings were terrifying. Huamin was a little worried. I'm not asking you to go on TV with me. I want to announce our relationship to the world. After hearing Qin Chu's words, Hu was a little bit. She didn't seem to want to go on and announce their relationship, not going to keep their marriage secret. Seeing that Huamin didn't want to go on the record, Qin Chu put down his chopsticks and looked at her gently. Honey, We can't keep a secret forever. I'm a public figure after all, and the whole company knows that you're my wife. The news has already spread. Why don't we take the opportunity to go public? What are you worried about? On the way home, Shu kept thinking about how he should announce their relationship on Legend tomorrow. No, he should announce their marriage. Even though the wedding hadn't been held yet, the fact that they were legally married still had to be announced. That way, so you wouldn't be able to get close to Huamin so easily, right? After all, getting close to a married man was a lot of pressure. Shu's suggestion was selfish. Even though he won this time, he didn't want to underestimate Su Yu. Chapter 647. I know. I just think that if we go public, I'll be labeled as Shu's wife, and I won't be able to live a peaceful life in the future. Huomi knew that once the news got out, it would be an explosive piece of news that would set off a storm. It doesn't matter what the label is, the most important thing is that you're my wife. Isn't that the truth? Shu smiled. You're right. Huomi nodded, thinking that Shu had a point. GK's 30-year anniversary party is in a few days. You can attend as my wife. Honey, you're used to keeping a low profile. It's okay for you to show up once in a while. After all, you have to make all the women who have designs on your husband give up. PSA, I think you just want to make all the women who have designs on me give up, right? Huomin was smart, of course. She knew what Shu was thinking. You're absolutely right, honey. Shu didn't try to hide it. Then, okay, if you want to go public, then go public. Huomin also thought that hiding their marriage wasn't a good idea. They couldn't keep it a secret for the rest of their lives. After all, marriage was between two people. After dinner, Shu and Huomin held hands and took a walk in the courtyard of their neighborhood. This was the first time they showed up in such a high-profile manner in the neighborhood since their marriage. There were many rich people living in Imperial Park, so someone secretly took photos of them and sent them to the rich circle. Hey, isn't this a photo of Huomin? Let me see. Su Yu immediately lost his composure. Don't look at it. It'll hurt your heart. Wei Liao looked at Su Yu sympathetically. It's okay. I'm not that fragile. Then, Su Yu violently grabbed Wei Liao's phone. The photo in the WeChat group was indeed Huomin, and the man beside her was Shu. Huomin was wearing a set of yellow sportswear and had her hair tied up in a ponytail. She raised her head and looked at Shu with her charming eyes and charming smile. Unfortunately, the beauty was not smiling for him. Shu has been making a lot of moves recently. Wasn't he very low-key in the past? Now that you're swaggering out and being photographed, are you going to announce your relationship? Wei Liao's IQ wasn't low. After analyzing the situation, he felt that it was possible. Su Yu looked at the photo, silently without saying a word. Look, I told you not to look. Even if you look, you'll feel stifled. You just won't listen. Wei Liao snatched his phone back. If they want to announce it, then so be it. If the sky wants to rain and the mother wants to marry, they have their own freedom. After Su Yu said this calmly, he picked up a glass of wine from the table and drank 3 glasses in a row. Wei Liao always mocked Su Yu, but after all, they had been buddies for so many years. Seeing him like this made him very uncomfortable. Lord Su, or else. Before he could finish, Su Yu interrupted him. If you're trying to persuade me to give up, then don't say it. It's meaningless. You're too stubborn. There are plenty of other women in the world. Why do you have to make things difficult for yourself? With your influence, you can shake the entire country with just a flick of your finger. You can pick any woman you want. Wei Liao sighed softly. Humans are all monkeys. They're all cheap. There are too many women out there, and I only like Huomin. There's no saving you. I don't need saving. This is good. Although Su Yu was in pain, he was very grateful for a woman like Huomin, because Huomin's appearance seemed to be the turning point in his life. Even his way of life had completely changed. He didn't live a ridiculous life like before. He didn't hang out with actresses and drink with prostitutes. He suddenly had a goal in life. So, he was happy and in pain. After Shu and Huomin came back from a walk in the neighborhood, Huomin felt a little stuffy, so she went straight into the bathroom to take a shower. However, just as she took off her clothes, the door was suddenly pushed open. Huamin was so scared that her first reaction was to cover her private parts. "What are you doing?" "Doing? That's a good idea. I'll satisfy you." Then, Qin Shu smiled evilly and began to unbutton his shirt. Chapter 648. "Ah, pervert!" Huamin screamed in fright. Wasn't it too exciting? They hadn't had sex in a few days, and now Mr. Qin was doing something so exciting as soon as he came back. Were they going to take a bath together? Qin Shu couldn't wait any longer, because he knew that Huamian's period was coming soon. So, he wanted to eat her up first and satisfy his cravings. Luckily, there was only one unit per floor on the top floor, so the soundproofing was very strong. Therefore, he didn't have to worry about the neighbors hearing Huamin's screams. The truth was, Huamin was shy, but she was more than happy to play along with Mr. Qin. People say that sex is only possible with love. When you love someone deeply, you will unconsciously want to possess them. Whether it was a man or a woman, there was no exception. Drenched in the rain, the warm water splashed onto the tiles, creating a thick mist. Their bodies were entwined together, creating a beautiful scene. Huamin felt that every time she kissed Qin Shu, her mind would go blank. She didn't have time to think about anything else. Everything followed his rhythm, to enjoy, to find the peak of happiness. Huamin was the shy type, so no matter how much pleasure she took, she would only bite her lips and whisper. She would never moan in bed, however. It was this restrained shyness that made Qin Shu even more captivated and addicted. He felt like he couldn't get enough of her in the end. He was exhausted. The two of them lay on a wide bed and fell asleep in each other's arms. Tonight was another beautiful night, ever. Since the incident in T-City, Huamin couldn't sleep well because she was always thinking about Qin Shu. It was hard for her to fall asleep alone. Now that Qin Shu was back and holding her in his arms, she greedily inhaled the unique scent of male hormones on his body. She felt so happy. The truth was, Huamin was an extremely insecure person. Many times, she felt like she didn't deserve to live such a happy life. Every time she slept next to Qin Shu, her worries would completely disappear. She was already in a deep sleep. However, she still held Qin Shu's hand tightly with one hand. Qin Shu's palms were sweating because Huamin's grip was too tight, but he still couldn't bear to let go. He knew that she didn't feel safe. Qin Shu quietly hugged his beloved wife and slowly fell asleep. The next day, Huamin drove straight to GK after work. Then, she got into Qin Shu's Maybach and went to the TV station. Her clothes and styling were all designed by GK stylists. Not ostentatious, low-key luxurious. Just now was the character of the two. "Hubby, do you want to rehearse?" "No need." "Then, will I say something wrong?" Huamin had never been on such an important TV program before, so he seemed very nervous. Back when she was the top scholar in the middle school examination, she had never been so afraid when she was interviewed by the media. "Don't be afraid. I'm here." Qin Shu tightly held Huamin's hand and encouraged her. "Okay." Huamin nodded. Just then, the TV station staff walked into the VIP lounge. "President Qin, Lady Qin can start now." "Okay." Qin Shu stood up, grabbed Huamin's hand, and slowly walked towards the studio. In order to make the show more effective, there were a few hundred people in the studio. Huamin and Qin Shu both wore casual suits. Qin Shu wore black, and Huamin wore white. They were both luxurious Italian custom-made, simple and elegant. Huamin also wore her hair up, which was rare for her, and looked smart and capable. She wore light Korean-style nude makeup, and at a glance, she was definitely very good-looking. When she stood next to Qin Shu, she didn't lose to him at all, and they actually looked very compatible. Next, let us give our warmest applause to today's guests, GK Corporation CEO, Mr. Qin Shu, and his wife, Huamin. Then, thunderous applause followed. Qin Shu held Qin Shu's hand and walked into the studio, into the audience's line of sight. The legend aired every Sunday at noon, and because of the primetime slot, the ratings were very high. It was broadcasted live nationwide. President's office at Imperial Star. President's office at Hua Corporation. It was broadcasted live on a 60-inch LCD TV. Huamin's appearance stunned XX and XX. President Su. Lunch is ready. Wait. Su waved his hand and sent his secretary away. Then he stared at the TV screen. Chapter 649. Nice to meet you, President Qin and Mrs. Qin. The host, Jean Lan, smiled elegantly and walked up to shake their hands. Nice to meet you, Sister Jean Lan. Huamin was very humble because Jean Lan was in her 40s and was a capable middle-aged woman. Don't be nervous. Please sit down. Jean Lan waved her hand, and the three of them sat down on the long chairs that were prepared for them. I heard that you two are very low-key and rarely show yourselves, right? Jean Lan asked with a smile. Huamin looked at Qin Shu, and Qin Shu gestured for her to answer. She smiled and replied, MHM, we don't like to expose ourselves too much. It disrupts our lives. Jean Lan, yes, the public doesn't know that President Qin is married. You guys are very good at keeping secrets. When did you guys get your marriage certificate? I'm curious. Huamin, about 4 months ago, almost 5 months ago. Jean Lan, what did he propose to you back then? Huamin, he didn't propose. We got our marriage certificate right away because we were close. We were high school classmates after all. Jean Lan, speaking of which, I have to ask President Qin, I heard that you studied abroad in the States for 7 years. During that time, you guys didn't contact each other, and you got your marriage certificate right after you came back. I don't understand what you did, so I'll ask you on behalf of everyone. How did you plan this? Qin Shu was silent for a few seconds, and then he replied, It's simple. When I first saw Huamin many years ago, I already knew that she was going to be my wife. So, regardless of whether we contacted each other or not, marrying her was something that I had to do for the rest of my life. Then thunderous applause sounded from the audience. Qin Shu's answer was extremely firm, showing them the sincerity of his love. Jean Lan, wow, I didn't know that President Qin was such a devoted person. Do you guys fight often? Huamin, almost never. We have a tacit understanding. Jean Lan, then, if you two disagree on something, who should you listen to? Qin Shu, my wife's words are the standard. The audience gasped in surprise. He didn't expect the Emperor of GK to love his wife so much. Qin Shu and Huamin went on the show to tell the world that they were married. Then, they would expose some of their daily love affairs. It was simply the rhythm of torturing single dogs to death. Suyu stared at the screen. He only looked at Huamin. Her every frown and smile seemed to have an extraordinary charm. He couldn't look away. On the other hand, Xiqian laughed nonchalantly. That sister of mine is finally showing off her love in public. It seems like someone is going to declare their territorial sovereignty. Qin family mansion. Who allowed our son to be interviewed? Are you going to do something about it or not? Lady Qin was furious. He even called the TV station to find fault with them, indicating that he wanted to cut off the live broadcast. However, they ignored her. In the end, she vented her frustrations on Qin Yuman. Our son is all grown up and can make his own decisions. We shouldn't cause trouble for him. At our age, we're enjoying our old age. Don't be so calculative. Qin Yuman calmly watched the TV. At our age, Huamin, that little vixen, only knows how to seduce Chu and stir up trouble. Now, she's encouraging our son to go on the live broadcast and announce their relationship. Great. Now the whole world knows that she's the daughter-in-law of the Qin family. How am I supposed to explain this to those rich wives? I've been telling them that my son is single, and I even asked them to keep an eye out for potential daughters-in-law. Isn't this slapping me in the face? No wonder Lady Qin was so angry. It was because she was slapped in the face. That's her own fault. Qin Yuman didn't help his wife this time. Ever since Huamin came to eat last time, he had silently acknowledged Huamin's existence. He even took advantage of the fact that he was still in good health to hold his grandchild and enjoy the joy of family life. Lady Qin, on the other hand, couldn't let go of Huamin and viewed her as a thorn in her side. No, I have to think a way to deal with her. I can't let that little vixen stir up trouble in the Qin family. Then, Lady Qin got up and went upstairs. GK headquarters. All of the employees were watching the president's live broadcast during their lunch break, and they were all excited. A young lady is so elegant. I like her so much, many female employees praised. Jiang Linyue's expression was grim. Director Jiang, what do you think? Someone who didn't know what was going on asked Jiang Linyue for her opinion. Chapter 650. I don't think a young lady is that special. I heard that she was born a commoner and graduated from a third-rate university. She's just an ordinary head nurse. She's not pretty, and her body isn't hot either. I don't know what President Qin sees in her, but the only reason she's able to drive $1 million luxury car is because of President Qin. But in my opinion, being able to marry into a rich family only proves that she's very scheming, very scheming. I don't think a woman who tried everything to marry into a rich family in high school is very pure. Jiang Linyue commented as she sipped on her iced coffee. Her words were extremely sharp, and the employees around her didn't dare to say anything. If they spoke up for Jiang Linyue, they would offend a young lady. If they spoke up for a young lady, it wouldn't do them any good to offend Jiang Linyue. After all, she wasn't someone to be trifled with. After dinner, everyone went their separate ways. Jiang Linyue was filled with anger. So she didn't eat much. She didn't expect them to announce their relationship so soon. However, announcing their relationship had its benefits. This way, Huamin would be at the center of attention, right? Jiang Linyue was right. That night, a local forum exposed some news about Huamin's background. The title was GK's a young lady, the most scheming bitch in the world. Then it listed Huamin's 10 sins with a lot of black dots. First, she had a boyfriend before, but in order to marry into a rich family, she dumped her innocent college boyfriend. Second, in order to marry into a rich family, she instigated Qin Chu to move out of the Qin family and maintain a stalemate with Lady Qin. Third, her mother used to be a mistress. If the upper beam isn't straight, the lower beam will be crooked. Fourth, she always acted like she didn't care about money, but because she hooked up with Qin Chu, she lived in a mansion and drove $1 million luxury car. Fifth, she used GK's name to buy her brother a sports car. Sixth, she had a close relationship with superstar In Yang. Apparently, In Yang betrayed his manager and Imperial Star Entertainment for her. Seventh, in order to clear her name, she continuously defamed her ex-boyfriend, causing Ning Ziyuan to almost be fired by the hospital. Eighth, he once acted like a pretentious prick. He didn't have a doctor's certificate, but he performed a C-section on a pregnant woman and caused her bodily harm. Number 9. Once, when he was drinking at the seductive Fox nightclub, he got into an argument with someone and was suppressed by the Qin family. Number 10. A while ago, he was sent to the police station for assaulting someone. He framed the deputy director of Southside just to get promoted. In conclusion, Huamin was truly a scheming bitch. Once the news came out, it caused a huge commotion. The comments from the netizens were overwhelming. Most of them were scolding Huamin. That was how the internet worked. Many people did not know the truth, so they started scolding him. When the news exploded, Suyu was eating hot pot with Wei Liao and the others. Wei Liao swiped his phone and said, Huamin is in trouble now. Maybe he was too high profile and attracted hate. What's going on? Suyu raised his head. As long as there was news about Huamin, he couldn't help but ask, take a look for yourself. Wei Liao handed him his phone. After Suyu read it, his face immediately darkened. Find out the IP address of the person who leaked the news. I think he's tired of living. Lord Su, calm down. Her husband isn't worried. Why are you? Plus, you're not in a position to clear his name. You should just wait and see. I can't do that either. This isn't the truth. Suyu had investigated Huamin thoroughly, so he knew the truth better than anyone else. What if Huamin was really a scheming bitch? How could he not see through her? Lord Su, this is normal. There are a lot of poor people these days, and most of them hate the rich. They can't stand to see others doing well. It's reasonable for them to slander Huamin like this. But with Huamin's current status and identity, He's not someone who can be shaken by a few dirty tricks. Don't worry, Tang Chuan advised. When Huamin saw the news, she was having dinner with Qin Shu at a Korean restaurant. She picked up her phone and glanced at it. Then, she smiled and said, "Who wrote this? It seems like they know me very well. When I decided to go public, I knew something like this would happen. In the future, things like this will happen more and more. Honey, are you scared?" Qin Shu looked up and stared into Huamin's eyes as he asked, word for word. Chapter 651. If I was scared, I wouldn't be Qin Shu's wife. Was she scared? Of course she wasn't. She was the fearless Huamin who would get through anything. Although gossip was scary, she had to be willing to listen to it. Why should she listen to those people who purposely slandered her and twisted the truth? She would just treat them as bullshit. Huamin's words touched Qin Shu slightly. He knew that his wife had always been a resilient little blade of grass, growing against the wind. GK's public relations company wasn't an idiot. When something happened, they immediately defended the company and the Qin clan's interests. They even hired a bunch of ghostwriters to go against those who purposely slandered her online. That night, Qin Shu was working in his study. Huamin was lying on the sofa, playing with her phone and eating snacks. Then she accidentally logged onto Weibo, which she hadn't been on for a long time. Her fans went from a few hundred to 600,000 overnight. Her most recent comment was also flooded by her fans. There were more than 20,000 retweets and more than 10,000 comments. One of the top comments said, "Huamin, I like you a lot. Although I didn't know you well before, I know that it wasn't easy for you to walk beside Qin Shu and become his wife. You fulfilled the legend of our Cinderella marrying a prince. Don't care what others say. I'll always support you." This comment also received more than 500 likes. Some of the comments were even harsher. Then, Huamin's fans fought with those anti-fans. It was a lively scene. "Huamin, you scheming bitch, give me back my husband. You little bitch, why did you steal my Qin Shu? Huamin, what right do you have to be by his side? You don't deserve it. I hope you guys get a divorce soon." All in all, the comments online were extremely vicious. If Huamin's heart was made of glass, it would probably be broken into pieces by now. But she wasn't. Although she was only 24 years old, she had seen a lot and was very calm. Faced with the overwhelming pressure of public opinion, Huamin was not in a hurry to explain, nor was he angry. She just casually wrote a Weibo post. "The past is thick, the color is clear, and the past is light. After years of sorrow and joy, it is as clear as a mirror." Then there was a picture of a lotus below. This sentence was extremely thought-provoking. Those who didn't have any ink would probably not be able to understand it. After this Weibo post was posted, it immediately caused another stir. Pretentious fool. She clearly graduated from a third-rate university, yet she wants to pretend to be a goddess. Disgusting. Huamin, can you be more shameless? Please let go of Qin Shu and go back to your Dr. Ex-boyfriend. Huamin, you can do it. I support you. That's a very zen sentence. Die-hard fans from elementary school wouldn't understand it. A young lady from GK is very meaningful. I support Qin Shu and Huamin together. No matter what, Huamin is still a member of the Hua family. You're all little bitches who hate the rich. Huamin, why don't you post a picture? I saw you on TV. You're so pretty and elegant. Also, where did you buy your clothes? Please link to them. Are you retarded? His clothes are custom-made by a luxury Italian brand. It's the same style as President Qin's. Do you think it's from some store? Please link to them. Your IQ is really low. Please link to the background music for Huamin and Qin Shu's live stream today. Thank you so much. The fans once again started a war of words. Some were true fans of Huamin, while others were anti-fans of Huamin. Many media outlets also reported in real time a young lady from GK Updates Weibo seems to be low-key response to scandal. Huamin was just about to exit Weibo when he received a private message from Suyu. Are you okay? Suyu's timely greeting warmed Huamin's heart. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.